This episode of the We Like Shooting Show is brought to you by Second Call Defense, Faxon Firearms, Swamp Fox Optics, Black Rhino Concealment, Polymer 80, Hackett Equipment, and Brownells. Welcome to the We Like Shooting Show, episode 351. Tonight we're going to talk about my SKS, 224 Valkyrie updates, Glock 48, Shield Arms Mags, Drone Defender, Firepower United, and more. Our panel tonight is Jerambe Pozderac from River's Edge Tactical in Valley City, Ohio. We got Savage 1R checking in from Washington, Aaron Krieger from Michigan, Nick Lynch beside me. My name is Shawn Heron, and I want to welcome you all to the show. Wasn't that exciting? That felt decidedly not that exciting, actually.
It was kind of weird to me that you're welcoming us to our own show.
I wasn't welcoming you. I was welcoming the listeners.
I'd like to welcome you.
It was weird that you did the ad thing.
Well,
you don't usually do that.
I usually don't, but I changed it, and I didn't want to listen to you guys stumble over it for 20 minutes.
I saw you have a new name in there.
Mr. Professional over here.
Yeah, I did. I added a new name. Who is that name, Aaron?
It's Hackett Equipment.
It is. It's we've actually been talking to them for a long time, known them for a long time, and they finally decided that they wanted to go steady. And that's what we're going to do. Aaron, what's your experience been with Hackett Equipment so far?
I've really liked what I've gotten from them, which is the Baby Bertha and the Rifle Burrito. Yeah,
Rifle Burrito. I use that a lot. Nick, you've used that.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I like it. It's handy.
What do you like about it?
I also got a bunch of sunglasses from them. I'm sorry to interrupt, Nick.
Are you?
No, not really.
Good. I'm glad you're not sorry.
And they were great sunglasses.
I appreciate that. It's a shooting mat. Keeps you up off of the prickly pears and stuff when we go shooting.
Yeah.
However, it also has those Velcro straps and everything, so you can throw your rifle in there and roll it up, and you're good to go.
Prickly pear is the nickname of my FYI.
Because you have two of them?
Yes.
Is it? Wait.
One attached to you and one in your pocket.
I thought it was your because it's all,
Well, go ahead, Savage.
Me and my wife were out shopping for plants the other day, and we saw this cactus that literally looked like and it had like a sack that had thorns coming out.
So you bought it, right?
It was like $84. I had to talk my wife out of it.
It sounds like that picture Jeremy put on my phone.
Yeah, I was like, "What? You mean you had to talk your wife into it?"
No, out.
She's like, "I like it raw."
For like a plant that big, Jesus Christ.
So Greg from Hackett did write us a letter, and I was just going to read it again. Brand new advertiser with WLS. So it says, "Dear WLS, thank you very much for partnering with Hackett. We've really enjoyed your show over the last couple of years, and also love to party with you guys!" ! Since we last spoke, a lot has changed and is changing for us, and we're excited to give you and your listeners the lowdown. As you can see from their website, we still have our core line products, which is what is new is the Hackett Standard Issue line of gear, which is military-style gear that we've curated for our customers. You can consider the Hackett Standard Issue line as being the high-quality, reasonably priced essentials for military professionals, LEO, and citizens. These include rifle cases, plate carriers, military backpacks. These products help us get a better understanding of the needs of our customers and give us the opportunity to offer them great products that are affordable. What we have coming up in 2020 is a very expanded line of shooting glasses. We're trying some crazy things in that realm, and you'll see us drop new eyewear in June, including new and improved tactical shooting glasses, which we know Aaron really likes.
I do. Did you actually say that?
Yeah, he actually did.
Well, I'll tell the story after you're done about my experience with those glasses.
We're also expanding our selection of plate carriers, and we are super stoked about it. As you guys already know, we're in the business of getting our customers the best products for best value possible. And to sweeten the deal, we're giving your listeners 21% off when they use the code WLSIsLife on their website. Once again, thank you very much. We look forward to working with you guys. Hackett. Aaron, what's your story with the glasses?
All right, so I had set up a piece of metal that was at an angle, and I had the glasses at the other side of that angle.
Oh, yeah.
And then I took a shotgun and shot the pellets at the piece of metal, and it bounced and hit the glasses that they sell currently. My camera wasn't working that day, so I didn't get any of the footage, which sucked. But in the end, what happened was the frames got broken, but the lenses were fine. So something to consider.
Yeah, I mean that is good. So I've actually I switch between the Tactical RX glasses and the Hackett, just depending on if I forget to bring one or the other, and I definitely like them. So I don't want this to go on forever. I do want to say thank you to Hackett Equipment for believing in us, and as I always do for our listeners. When it came time for us to set up the coupon code, I said, listen, I just request this of all of our advertisers. It has to be better than any coupon code that you give anybody else ever. So he said, well, you guys already have the highest at 20%. And I said, well, it's got to be better. And he said, okay, well, 21%. And I said, sold. So we'll have a lot of stuff coming out later. HackettEquipment.com, coupon code WLS is life. And let's get right into it. All right, our guest tonight, you probably will recognize him at some point, and we'll talk about it a lot. But he's, a gun nerd, collector, shooter, did a lot of competition stuff in college, got hooked, and you may remember him from YouTube videos and funny stuff like that under the pseudonym Long. His name is Calvin Trong. What's up, man? How you doing?
Going on, man?
Glad to have you. Sorry, the audience is a little slow tonight. Welcome to the show. I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, man, you want to come on the show? And he's like, what do you want to talk about? And I was like, I don't know. What do you want to talk about? And then we ignored each other for like a month. And then
that's pretty much how it went.
Yeah. And then we came back. So what do people generally know you from?
So they probably know me from my YouTube channel, whether or not they just subscribed, because a few of them did go viral a few years back. The crazy Vietnamese immigrant with a really heavy accent, Phuc Long. Basically, what I was doing was just making fun of the gun community, and just all within this character. So just making fun of the stupid arguments that people talk about online, and like the whole gross motor skill thing, and I just basically went on from that.
That's freaking awesome. So let's start at the beginning, I guess. When did you come into guns in your life?
I don't know, because people ask me that a lot, and I don't know where it really started, because the first time I ever saw a gun, I was 3 years old, and it was during a home invasion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Savage, this is a cue to pick your nose. He's going to tell us something serious.
Yeah, so that was, it was like 5 dudes, came into our house, held my dad at gunpoint, and one of them had a gun that looked like a Beretta, like the shape of it, because I didn't know what it was at the time. Mm-hmm. But and that image just kind of stuck in my head. But later on, elementary school, I was researching guns. I would go to the library, and believe it or not, my elementary school library had books about guns. So I would check them out and read about them, and just I've learned that there was different kinds. So as I was like reading more about them. I'd try to find more and see how the different ones worked and stuff. So that's kind of what started that. And I know those two events have nothing to do with each other, but those are like my two earliest memories of guns. One of them was like, you know, like really traumatic, and the other one was just me being a nerd and reading about old guns and stuff. No,
that's actually pretty cool. It makes some sense with some of the videos I've seen, like lots of older, you know, like World War II, World War I guns, stuff like that in your videos, and it does make sense. The do you have a Beretta now? Like, was that your Grail gun?
it's my Duke Carry Gat.
There you go.
So yeah, I made it safe for the show. But yeah, I picked one of these up for really cheap because I guess the previous owner couldn't shoot it. I don't know.
Nice.
But it's the LTT model, so it's really badass. But what I like about these guns is I really don't know, to be honest. It feels much like my Temfolio.
Yeah.
So with a Glock, I love Glocks, and I really like how reliable they are. But just the grip angle itself, I have to consciously aim the gun and hold my wrist at a different angle than my Tanfo. So, or CZ75, like those are the same grip angle. So with this gun, I can basically shoot it like my race gun and not have to.
It's almost like Tankfolios are a copy of CZ75s.
Almost. Yeah. But the biggest takeaway here is that grip angle, that I can just basically do a build drill with this thing and not have to think about any difference in a grip angle and pointing it different ways.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Do you think there's some deep psychological connection to you having a Beretta and that being one of your first gun memories?
I don't think so, because I've owned a Beretta in the past and I got rid of it. But I never really tie it back to that because I guess we get into the whole gun control thing where people associate guns with bad things. Mm-hmm. I tend to separate the object from the action pretty easily. And maybe that's just how I'm wired.
No, I think generally most gun people do that pretty easily. It's like we read an article about, a gang shooting and, 5 people died or something like that. And you're like, well, that sucks. Those people should not have done that thing. I never am like, God, guns.
Yeah, like that guy was a piece of shit, like whatever. But like,
you know what I think? Boy, I wish somebody would take a gun and shoot those people in the head and they could never do that again.
True that. True that. All right, so you checked out books in elementary school. You probably played like violent video games growing up. What happened? What was your next gun experience after elementary school and the guns that you checked out?
Let's see. So so at this point, like people were worried. Like my mom was worried, like because my mom's like pretty anti-gun. She's gotten more used to it. Like she's more accepting of it now. Mm-hmm. But like up through my childhood to early adulthood, she was pretty anti-gun. So she was worried. My teachers were like freaked the f*** out. Like, why is this kid like drawing pictures of guns and in the spare time and reading about them? Probably if it happened today, I'd probably like be in a special program for like.
Oh yeah.
Have like the SWAT team called on me because I have like a picture of a gun somewhere.
Yeah, it's called the Juvenile Detention Center.
Right. But yeah, I mean, at the time, it was probably a little bit weird for most kids, but like no one thought I was going to kill anybody. Thank God.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, but by high school, I had joined JROTC, mm-hmm. which is like like a military cadet program. And that's where I learned formal rifle marksmanship. So we did 3-position rifle, like the old school classic prone, kneeling, and standing with these really high precision air rifles. Like people think air rifles are like those little Daisy BB guns, but these were like $2,000, Walther rifles. And like each click was 0.1 millimeters, of adjustment at 10 meters.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, the size of the bullseye was like a 0.5 millimeter wide. So it was pretty tough. But learning how to shoot classical rifle, I think, set a really good foundation for learning how to shoot in general. I see a lot of like newer shooters, they'll pick up whatever they saw from a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And it's like they're C-clamping everything. And it's like, well, it works.
Yeah, Shawn.
I C-clamp the out of my guns, but I don't use it for every application,
Right.
And
I only C-clamp my pistols. I think that works really well.
kind of like this.
Yeah, exactly. It gets you everything you need right there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust the pistol's cycling action. Like I like to cycle the action myself. So after it shoots, then I rack the slide eject it around because that way it's more reliable.
Exactly.
That's true. Yeah, you'll never get a failure to feed or failure to eject that way, I guess.
Nope. It's good to go. But yeah, I get that. Like Magpul Dynamics, I mean, that was my jam back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw it, like I followed like it was religion.
Oh,
like,
same.
How you have to shoot.
Yeah.
Like I'm throwing out everything else I ever learned in my life, and this is it.
Totally agree. In fact, one of my very first cases of piracy was because I couldn't find the DVDs, so I downloaded them.
Whoa.
Yeah, and burned them to my own DVD.
I would never do that.
I don't give a
Oh wow.
Yeah, I do what I want. But no, it was like I wanted them so bad, and I just couldn't order them when they first came out. Well, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't have the money to order them and pay the prices that they wanted.
Yeah, they were kind of spendy.
They were. But yeah, I mean, I took the 3-position, like getting that kind of base start, that is like pretty dang good. I think that a lot of people could benefit from going through that kind of stuff and learning like the minutia of stuff. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely. I haven't done what do you call those things? The Appleseed classes?
Yeah.
But every time I mention one to one of my friends, like the ones who haven't had that kind of, classical rifle training, they look at me like almost as if it's an insult. But these are also the same people. They'll take a 200-yard shot kneeling, but they don't know which knee to get on.
Yeah.
Or they don't know how to support the rifle. I was like, it's not an insult. It's just like, bro, these are like super basic things that everyone should know.
Yeah, Appleseed's definitely on my list of stuff that I've been saying this for like 8 years. But I really do want to do one, and they have them at one of the ranges I'm a member at.
Do you want me to just show you how to do it, Shawn?
No, but I'll go to an Appleseed class with you. It's different if you do it because, like, if I go to Appleseed, they'll be like, "Okay, here's how you do it," and then expect me to do it. If I go do it with you, we'll stay out drinking way too late the night before. We'll be all hungover at the range. You'll f***ing scream at me as usual.
If we go to a class together, we're going to be up late night drinking.
Oh, yeah.
That won't change.
That's actually a really good point. I didn't think about that.
It is different though when someone else teaches you versus like a friend teaching you though.
Yeah.
Like
Actually, Jeremy's a good instructor, but yeah, I do want to do
I'm
one.
going to snap kick you in the teeth if you start around.
I mean, I'm certified NRA rifle instructor. It's basically the same thing, right? All right. So during high school, did your love for guns grow? Jesus, that's hard to say. During high school, did your love for guns grow?
Kind of, but after like 3 years of doing the same 3 positions and shooting at these bullseyes, like in the dark, shooting really slow, it got kind of old. So then I discovered shotguns because you can shoot at moving targets. And after a while, that got old because it was just clays. And I found something on YouTube, and it was like the coolest ever. It was dude like running around just spraying bullets everywhere and hitting everything at like lightning speed. And I think that's what you call USPSA.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I saw that. I think the very first video I ever saw was like of Blake Miguez doing it. And I was like, holy shit, I want to do that. Like, I want to be a badass for the gun. Like, I wanted to be John Wick before John Wick existed.
Hell yeah, that's freaking awesome. So you said, okay, I want to do that. Tell us about the process to go from thought to actual practical application.
Well, I had a really slow start because I was pretty dumb. And then the people on the internet who were trying to help me were even dumber. You know when you go to forums for advice?
Yes.
So you don't know anyone. The people giving you advice they don't know anything. And it was just a show for a while. So the very first gun I bought was a SIG P229 in 40 caliber because 40 was the perfect medium between 9 and 45.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, I bought a compact because I wanted to be able to carry it and also shoot competitions with it. Like, it was terrible. So after a month, I switched to a P226 because I was convinced that I had to have a SIG because that's what Navy SEALs used.
Oh yeah.
And if I had the same gun that the Navy SEALs used, I would be as badass as a Navy SEAL. So yeah, I didn't have the best gun for that, but the good thing about it was that it was
I honestly never believed people like you actually existed. I thought you were made up.
No, dude, there's tons of me. And then, like, now in, like, my Instagram, I'm trying to, like, give, like, good advice to people to not make the same stupid mistakes I did. But then they'll just come back at me and tell me how dumb I am. I was like, no, this is the stupid I did. I'm trying to help you.
See, I'm with you, man. Like, my first gun, I walked into a gun store. I was like, hey, I want to buy a gun. They were like, 40 caliber M&P is the way for you. And I got it, took it to the range, hated every second of it. And I was like, this kind of sucks. And I took it back and I was like, I need something. I don't know. It seems a little much. And they were like, you know what? Officer model 1911 and 45 ACP. And I was like, all right, fine. So I traded it in for like $200 less than I paid for the M&P. Awesome. Got the 45, and then I just stopped asking gun stores for advice.
And you got the officer's model. That's even.
Yeah, because I wanted to carry it. I was like,
funnier.
Yeah, 3 rounds of 45 ACP. What else can you need?
Might as well get a Derringer at that point. Holy shit.
I know. All right, so the footsteps of a SEAL.
Yeah, footsteps of a SEAL. I actually held that gun. I kept it for a while. But the good thing about it is I did learn a double action trigger pretty early on in my like shooting career, I guess. But then after the Magpul handgun DVD came out, I had to have the same fucking gun as Chris Costa and Travis Haley. Like, I had to have that fucking gun because they were like doing the whole like slide auto forwarding thing, and they were just ripping it. And yeah, so I'm that guy from the internet.
Dude,
God, I hate you and everybody like you.
Dude, that was me. Like, I was the same dude.
God, what was it like to be that sad?
Okay, but think about it though. If you grew up and you had no idea about guns except for what other told you, what else would you do?
I would find competent people and listen.
Yeah, but you don't know if they're competent.
Exactly.
Or not.
Yeah,
we don't.
Everyone to me was a genius.
Yeah, there's no frame of reference there.
But like when I learned long range shooting from a guy who I watched make contact at a mile with a cold bore shot, and you're like,
but see, that's the thing, Jeremy.
I'm
like,
gonna listen to that guy.
I didn't know anybody that shot. I didn't know anybody that shot at all. Like, I was literally the first guy in my group of friends that was like, "Hey, I think I want to shoot some
I
guns."
don't know what that's like. You people
You know how
are
you
weird
tell
to me.
if people are competent? It's by their post count.
Oh yeah, the more.
Yeah, this is why I don't value anybody on the internet's opinion, and I don't know who you people are.
Don't worry, Calvin. I went through very much the exact same, and because I was exposed to guns as a teenager because my uncle had a ton of guns, but I never went to the range really. I did go prairie dog shooting with him a lot and in summers and stuff, but I just was not exposed to it all the time like Jerambe was. Like Jerambe grew up with a 22 shell in his.
Yeah, I mean,
Damn near killed him.
Right. When they called a bullet a pill, he actually took them as pills.
Suppositories.
Yeah, I mean, the closest thing I had to an authority figure around me with guns was my stepdad, but he had the ultimate FUD Remington 700, the ADL, so it didn't have a bottom metal. He had the cheap one that you can get from Academy, and he would shoot it once a year.
I grew up with farmer guns. I didn't grow up with M16s and ARs and AK. I didn't grow up with any of that. The most tactical gun that my dad had was a Mini 14 ranch rifle with the 5-round magazine.
Than a Remington 700 ADL.
Yeah, but my dad had a Winchester 94 30-30, a Savage 99 in 22-250, a Springfield 67A 12 gauge. Yeah, that's a $50 Sears job. My grandma had cooler guns. My grandma had a Colt from 1956.
See, the funny part here, Jerambe, is that you are literally the only person in this group of people that we're talking to right now that had that upbringing. Most of us were literally more like Calvin. We
weren't allowed to have guns in the house because my mom would afraid my brother and I would shoot each other with them.
And she was right.
Yeah, she probably was.
I was 10. My dad handed me a loaded rifle and said, "Kill that groundhog." I'm like, okay.
I didn't have that.
No, I didn't have that either. My dad was
people are weird.
My dad was like, kill your sister.
How do you grow up?
I'm pretty sure my stepdad had the same box of shells for the last 4 years.
Oh man! All right, so you went through some mispicks when you were first picking out your guns.
Yeah. So I went through the M&P. Had some major issues with that one because it was one of the early ones that had the early unlocking problem where it shoot 2 feet high at 25 yards. I'm not sure if you guys remember that.
I don't actually. Fortunately, I skipped that. I got in when they were baller.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they were. I got one of the super early ones because I had to be like Chris Costa and Travis Haley.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I got one of the bad ones, and it was a 40% fail rate, I think, at that time because there were some other people in the forums who were having issues with theirs. Anyway, so I went through. I was like, you know what? I'll get what everyone else has. I'll get a Glock like a normal person. And that's kind of where the whole practical shooting thing really started. By then I'd already graduated from college, so I had a little, I had a job, a little bit of money, so I could go shoot more. And everyone around me had these super cool guns. They all had these tricked out, CZ Shadows and 2011s, and that's kind of where I felt like I was undergunned. And I remember I took a class with JJ Rakaza, one of my earlier classes in practical shooting. And I was like, hey man, what do you think if I just switched to, a CZ right now? And he's like, bro, you don't need to. And I was like, okay. And the next thing I did was I bought a CZ.
Okay. So we are more alike than you even know.
Yeah. So I think what it takes for you to find what you think is your ideal gun, to finally go through and cut the and it's like, all right, I'm done searching for guns. I'm going to work on the skill. So once I've reached what I thought was the pinnacle of handguns, I had nothing else to blame.
Right.
So a lot of guys will ask questions like, well, what should I get? Blah, 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 blah. And my answer is, well, it doesn't really matter what you get. The skill is more important. But, I've already gone through that phase where I searched for what I thought was the best. So I don't know if that advice it doesn't really hit home for people. It's shoot what you have, because people will always have in the back of their mind if they feel their gun is inadequate, then they'll make it true.
So true. So true. I mean, we see that all the time. We on our Wednesday shows, we answer questions and we see a lot of that stuff. People think that, well, it can't be me, even though they've really taken no real training or anything like that. They just assume that everyone can, but they see people on the internet, they shooting really well. And so they assume that anyone who picks up a gun can shoot well.
I love out shooting people with their own guns when they're complaining about it. It's my favorite thing to do on any given day.
I'm not going to lie. There is something very glorious about it when they're like, I think my sights are up, and you're like, let me see that real quick, and you're like, ding.
Or what's even better is someone's like, oh, you can only shoot like that because you have a tricked out gun. So you hand them their gun or your gun, and then like they can't hit with it either.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So when you got in, which was the first competition that you did?
Oh, I think the very first thing I ever did was I did one USPSA match with my SIG, and then like I was just poor, so I didn't have any money to keep on doing it, and I didn't shoot USPSA again for like years. But I knew that was what I wanted to do. I just didn't have any money. So I kind of stuck with that. And in the Dallas area, about 5-6 years ago, IDPA was a lot more prevalent, so that's all there was. So I did a little bit more of that. But after I've shot more USPSA, I've learned to really dislike IDPA because of the rules and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot more restrictive on what you can do. It doesn't really promote like very extremely good gun handling and like speed and accuracy. It's just like it's like a watered down version of USPSA.
Yeah. I mean, if you go to an IDPA match and then a USPSA match and then like a 3-gun match, you can kind of almost see the progression where IDPA was like, like the older dudes who wanted to like go and shoot against each other, but they didn't want to get really crazy. And then eventually like they were like, oh, this is all too gamed. And that was kind of when USPSA was created, was by the people who didn't want to be restricted by IDPA. And I mean, you can totally see it when you go to each different kind of match.
Oh, for sure. And what's really funny is, going like changing subjects all over the place, but when I did travel over to Europe, for some reason they like, at least where I went, they liked IDPA more than IPSC or, our USPSA. And it's like, you guys can't even carry guns. Why are you playing a sport that mimics carrying a gun?
That's actually true. That's actually a really good point.
There's a lot of politics over there with the people running the sports. But yeah, when I was in Turkey, like that's all there was in these.
You're a Turkey. Oh, I'm sorry. That was too soon.
Was there a point?
Hey.
Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I had questions in regards to different line of questions. So go ahead. You finish yours, and I'll start mine.
No, I was just going to say. So you started competing and clearly liking it. Like when did you realize like, oh, this is my jam?
Oh man, I mean, as soon as I started, I was hooked. It was just a financial issue at that point.
Yeah.
So I would watch videos all the time on it, and like, this is before Instagram, so like you're looking on YouTube of like random grandmasters and stuff. But what I found was like watching them shoot kind of gave me a false image of how I shot, because I didn't shoot like what I saw on YouTube, but I didn't realize it.
Right.
So like I thought I was hot. And then, as I shot more and more, I came to realize like I became more self-aware of what my capabilities were.
Yeah. I think that's an important kind of like time in every shooter's life when I call it the Jerry Lewis principle, because you feel like you're out there looking like, JJ Ricazza or something like that. And then you watch a video of yourself and you look like Jerry Lewis doing a skit. And
hello,
lady.
Yeah, exactly. Like playing hockey, that was one of those things, because you're out there and you're like skating as hard as you can and catching a pass and shooting it, and then you see video of it and you're like, geez, is this like my first day? This is awful.
It's funny because the hockey thing, because you're out there and you're flying, man. You're flying, and then you watch a video and you're like, God, this is so slow.
Yeah, you're like, is this half speed? What's going on?
It's not in slow motion.
Yeah, it's crazy, but that realization there, I mean, that's like the opposite of Dunning-Kruger. It's like realizing where your limitations are. And then what did you do once you realized?
Well, I took more classes, but the biggest thing I think that helped me was dry fire practice. I bought Ben Steger's books on dry fire and all his drills and stuff. And that's where I had the biggest gains. It wasn't from actually shooting at the range. It was from learning all the motions, like as far as the draw goes, the reloads, transitions were a big one.
I noticed on your Instagram page, you do a lot of dry fire.
I probably do more than most like Instagrammers, I guess.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just thought you took it to heart and you actually really do it.
Yeah, because I went from being a piece of shit C class to an A class in like 4 months.
Nice.
So, and that was all just from dry fire. Because at that time, my recoil control was pretty bad still. But because I was able to move the gun a lot faster, that alone just brought me up to A class.
Yeah.
And which one's go ahead. I'm sorry. You continue.
Oh, so my accuracy was never that much. Like, if I had all day to shoot something, like my accuracy is pretty good. Like I could, on a good day, I could still shoot like a 2-inch group at 25 yards with a handgun. If like you gave me all day, I'm not nervous and I'm feeling good. Which is, I would say, majority of people can't do that. So I learned that early on because of my precision rifle I did as in high school. Just learning how good trigger control and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask, which were better, Nike or Adidas?
I guess it didn't really matter. I know what post you're talking about. But yeah. That's another like one of my things. Like it doesn't matter. Like guys will argue about everything, like A brand or B brand.
All right. So speaking about your posts, when you came out, you were doing the accent thing, and it was hilarious. But did you catch any flack for that? Did you get any feedback from different communities?
Tons. I think the most triggered people were Vietnamese people in Vietnam.
Really?
Yeah. Because they're like, well, no, all of us talk like this. I was like, yeah, I know that, but that's how my family talks. So like I got that accent, and I polished it as it got further on. But like that's straight up from like my grandparents and my uncles. Like that's legitimately how they talk. And if you know a lot of immigrant Vietnamese people, that's the normal, I guess, the common accent, what it sounds like.
That was hilarious.
It is. Yeah. It's f***ing hilarious. Actually, let me. I'll just real quick share the screen here.
Long, and today we're talking about the Saudi fan. Some people out there want to take all your money, kick your duck, do the booty infiltrate. Some people say you pee your pants, do the throw up, and you make them not horny anymore, and they go away.
So I mean that's the accent. So like you got it from like the people in Vietnam. That's insane.
Yeah, those were probably the most hostile towards the character. And there was like random ones. Like, there's a bunch of random people who thought it was all real, like thought I was a real person. So
you are a real person.
Well, they thought Phuc Long was a real person, and they thought Phuc Long was an idiot and shouldn't be around guns and all this stuff.
Dude, it's hilarious, man. It was one of my favorite things. Like when the videos first started going viral and stuff. It's just like it was so hilarious.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do them. I wish YouTube hadn't changed so much since then.
Yeah,
because like I don't run off of monetization or like I don't run off of like ads or paid reviews or any of that kind of stuff. So like there was no financial incentive for me to do it, like at all.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's funny because I did the same thing and everyone called me racist when I did the Asian accent. I don't get it.
Yeah, like clearly Calvin speaks perfect English. And he was doing the accent. And I mean, some people said it, but Aaron, when you do it, it's like a Jewish.
I'm on.
A Jewish guy doing the.
No, don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. You actually
you can do it, but I'm not allowed.
No,
so this world is.
I agree with everybody else. It's racist. Stop.
Yeah, there's kind of a fine line there. Like I'm not going to speak for all Asian people, but I find that if you are not the ethnicity you're making fun of, if you're able to pull it off in a way that's authentic and not like the stereotypical like ching chong ting tong ling long, right? If you do like one of those, like yeah, that's offensive. But if you actually dive down and learn all the nuances of the accent, I think people will appreciate that.
To be 100% clear here, Aaron is Jewish and he can't even do a Jewish accent. So
no, it's true. I didn't even realize Jewish people had accents. So Shawn
has a better Jewish accent than Aaron does.
It's true, and I'm 0% Jewish. Praise the Lord.
Wait, whoa.
Whoa.
All right, getting back. I think we'll talk about travel now. Like doing competition and stuff, you've been able to do some pretty cool trips, right?
Yeah, I don't go 100% for the competitions, but I try to when I do. So the one good thing about having, I guess a network on IG is like I can just feel like people will invite me to wherever. And, if I happen to be there, I'll go shoot with them. So when I went to Turkey, where I shot IDPA there, shot a bunch of these dudes. They were really cool. but like they don't have the same opportunities to train like we do. So if you do like the conversion rate for 9mm, like a one round is equal to like $1 there. So and not only that, their income is about 1/3 of ours. So they're paying 9% of their income for like a case of 9mm ammo, while like an average person, he would pay less than 1% of their income. So like for them, like one round of 9mm is a big deal. So they don't get to train. But I did go there and I shot a random gun I've never shot before at a match, and I took second place. Not because like I'm amazing, but just because they don't have the opportunity to train. And I think people over here kind of take that for granted.
Yeah.
So just to put things in perspective, and like, you know, getting a gun over there is, you have to get like a license, and it's a lot of money given how, you know, how low their income is relative to ours. I think they could pay like $200 a year just to have a license to even own a gun.
Jeez.
And a Glock there is like $3,000 US.
God.
You have to be like rich to own a Glock. So a lot of people there buy domestic guns, you know, like your Canics or your SARs and stuff like that, your Gearsons.
Hey, nothing wrong with those.
They're pretty good for the money.
Yeah. I have a SAR B6P.
I want one. But yeah, I shot some of the SARs there. I shot the Jonics. Let's see. But yeah, they make pretty decent guns. They can't have rifles at all. No semi-auto rifles. So they have like these 410 shotgun ARs that are kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that's like the closest thing they can get to an AR-15.
Yeah.
They're big on shotguns. There's shotguns everywhere over there, as far as like sporting purposes.
Yeah, the 410 that actually, Aaron, you reviewed one of those and you liked it. And it was fun.
I did actually. Yeah.
Totally. So you mentioned that they don't have a whole lot of time to train and stuff over there, and I just thought that was an interesting point, considering that you were like, what made me better than a lot of people was the fact that I dry fire so much, and like they can do that.
Yeah, so they don't have at least the people I've met, they don't have as strong of like a competition culture. I just don't think they're aware of the training that's available and stuff. So for them, it's more of like a social gathering. Hey, let's get our homies together and let's go shoot a match. That's kind of what I gathered from it.
Yeah.
You know,
do they say homies a lot over there in Europe?
Maybe. If you know Samo from Polar Tactical,
we do actually.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, what else was I gonna say? Something Turkey, something.
Yeah, like where have you been?
You're a Turkey. Oh wait, I already did that one.
So I was there. I went to Slovenia where I hung out with Polinar. And again, they like IDPA rules for whatever reason, and they like the old rules with like cover.
Oh man.
And yeah, like again, they can't carry guns. The only way you can get a carry license if you are some really rich person who's got a target on his back, or if you are a security guard. So that's basically the only way you can get a carry license in those countries.
And that was Slovenia and Turkey?
Slovenia, Turkey. Switzerland was the same way when I went over there and hung out with, Mike from Bloke on the Range? What do you know of him?
I know of. Yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of older guns, like way older guns, like that I don't even know exist. And he gets into like really a lot of detail about like all these old military manuals of how like the British Army did it back in the day with their Lee Enfields, and it's pretty detailed. But yeah, I mean, Switzerland has a completely different shooting culture. And in some ways good, and then some ways not as good as ours, because we have a right to bear arms. So like none of those European countries have the right to bear arms. So it's when you get into it online with them, like you understand, if you like were aware of their laws and how their countries were founded, like you would understand like why they think that way. Because for them it's a privilege. They can't just use deadly force. They don't have like their what do you call that? The conditions that have to happen for deadly force are much narrower than what ours are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, self-defense doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's very rare. I mean, it can happen, but it's like if someone's trying to stab you, you can't shoot them because it's not equal, not fair, or whatever.
Can you stab them?
I suppose so.
I mean, I'm in.
I'm not an expert on their law.
You stab them with a bullet?
Yeah, it's really weird because they like the tool you use to defend yourself there is a much more important, or has more weight than it does here in the States. Like here, if someone's going to kill you, whether they're going to kill you with their fist or a car or a gun, you can use whatever you need to defend yourself.
Yeah.
But over there, it has to be, I forgot the word they used to describe it, but it has, equal or acceptable level of force, or reasonable level of force. Like, what's reasonable?
So weird.
Yeah, so it's strange.
Do you, when you go over there and you talk to those guys, are they like, wow, America's like the best thing ever, and you guys get all this freedom to do this stuff, or are they just like, you guys are fucking weird?
It depends on who you talk to, because they've grown up being so used to strict regulation, some of them think it's a good thing. They see stuff on the news and like, oh well, we have regulation, which is why that doesn't happen here. I've heard of that, but I've also heard of where like, oh man, you guys can do whatever you want. You have all the freedom. You can take care of yourselves. You're responsible, et cetera, et cetera. So you have, just like here, you have varying points of varying opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not everyone thinks the same.
Crazy, man. We are talking to Calvin Trong from Firepower United. We're going to take a brief moment and hear from our next sponsor. And that is Swamp Fox Optics. Aaron, did you see that video that I was in?
Yes.
What'd you think?
Wait, what video?
God, dude, it was so cool.
Video?
Yeah. Was
it cool?
Yeah, hold on. I'll show you. I went and filmed with Swamp Fox.
We inherited our freedom. Now it's up to all of us to fight.
Is that your hands?
No, hold on. Oh, wait. That's super loud, isn't it?
It doesn't matter. No one's really watching.
I'll turn it down for you. Okay, here we go.
Slide series.
I'm going to fight.
Yeah, so they're an optics company, but they're putting out these slides because they're compatible with all their optics, which is pretty cool. You're going to see me any second. They made me look not fat, which is a good thing.
Were they filming from really
There's
far
Angel.
away?
That's not me.
Okay.
I couldn't tell.
Is that your hands again?
Oh, wait, what?
We're the Wolverines. We create.
I wore a Hawaiian shirt because I was like, if I'm coming, I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Where'd you go to film this?
That was me.
Was that
That's it?
you?
That's it?
Yeah, we were in the forest. That's me.
There it is.
Oh,
There's Angel. They even made me look like I knew what I was. That's me.
Wow. Didn't have to go to orbit for that one.
I know. Wide angle lens. That's me. Nope, not me. Angel.
You?
Nope. Nope.
You? No.
So for the people that are watching, they made me look cool as
So where'd you film that?
Black Forest.
I don't even know what Black Forest is.
And a range. So yeah, this is the Wolverine slide.
It's cool.
Wait, that's me? That's not
Sure.
me. I'm not me. Not me. That was me. Angel, not me. Me, not me. Me, me. Angel, not me.
Angel.
Yeah.
Wolverines.
I like that Wolverines part.
Yeah. So I did have to yell Wolverines in the range, and I felt like the biggest f***ing jack on the face of the planet. Oh, shit. It was pretty crazy. So this is the Wolverine slide. So they're an optics company. You guys know that. And one of the biggest things that they were getting questioned about all the time is, will your optics work with my slide? So they teamed up with Steel City Arsenal, and they're releasing kind of their own slides that work with polymer 80s, and they work with Swamp Fox optics, red dots, and stuff like that, which is actually pretty fucking cool. I thought it was awesome. I got to shoot them all a lot that day. And yeah, I was definitely impressed. Like the slides are freaking beautiful. Wait, what's everyone saying here? Was Shawn the Ham, or how can Shawn's head fit in the studio now? Was Shawn the Ham at Black Forest? Wow, you're famous. Can we talk about how Shawn's a superstar now? Shawn was an ear model. Shawn the Ham model. Shawn's all excited he got to be the Stay Fresh Marshmallow Man. Stay
puffed, you dumb.
Oh my god!
I honestly thought Shawn was going to show us a gay he was in. No, Nick.
Wait, you were in a gay?
No,
Oh,
that's not me.
I heard you were.
That was
I heard
Nick.
you were.
But so yeah, these slides are out. We recently reviewed the Blade Optic. You can find our YouTube review of that, and we just destroyed an Arrowhead in our recent torture test of that. And you know, torture tests, they're like, oh, we're going to put it in some mud, and we were like, no, we're going to shoot it with a shotgun, run it over with a truck, and like all nonsense. But that's what people like, so that's what we did. and you can check out that video on our YouTube channel. We like shooting. If you just search for that, you'll find it. And swanfoxoptics.com is where you can go to find all the optics, the slide, and everything else. And save 25% off on everything with coupon code WLS is life.
Do they have a 10mm slide?
No, not yet. just the 19 and the 17 and the Wolverine right now. All right, we're back with Calvin Trong from Firepower United. When did you get to 3-gun?
Oh, I actually did that earlier on in my career. Career, right? But it was, because during that in the college, I was like, okay, I want to have an AR-15. Everyone's got an AR-15, and it was right after the 2008 election, so everyone was buying ARs. Mm-hmm. So I had to wait as long for an AR-15 lower as I would have for a tax stamped.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
That sucks. That really sucks. Holy.
Yeah, so but all it was I saw how cool USPSA was, but then you got to do it with long guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never really stuck with it because I didn't like shotgun. And I think that seems to be like the reoccurring theme here.
Well, see, that I was just getting ready to say. I was like, you had all this experience with shotguns early on in your in your shooting story, and I was like, that was going to set you apart and make you better than everyone else.
No.
Same.
Like, you have to there's so much stuff you have to buy for the shotgun or have gunsmiths do work on it. And it's not the same shotgun mods you would do for any other shotgun sport or application. So you can't, you can use it, but at the time, no one was using a 3-gun style shotgun for home defense or hunting or any of that stuff. So it was just way out there.
Yeah.
And I just, not really interested in lugging around 6 guns everywhere I go.
Dude, ARs, pistols, I love shooting both of them. I shoot both of them well. Shotgun, just a soup sandwich. I just fall apart. I'm awful.
It's a lot more complex than people make it out to be.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to learn all your different patterns for your different shots, and then you have to learn your dope for your slugs. And people don't think that a shotgun is this crazy thing that you actually have to know all this data for.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned the slug, learning your dope. I never needed to learn the dope because I never loaded my shotgun right. So I was always just bird shot, slug in the wrong area, bird shot. No. Yeah, no, which is a penalty.
Yeah, that's a DQ in some matches, I think.
I never DQ'd. Only Aaron did.
Okay. It's been 3 years since I DQ'd in a match? Granted, I've only been in one match in the past 3 years, but we always got to bring that up.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
I think so.
I like the comments over here. What would be the name of Shawn's gay? And it was lock, stock, and lock, cocked, and smoking 2 barrels.
That's terrible. Thank you, Jeremy.
Because it sounds like something he'd be in.
So Calvin, I want to hear the long character and the videos and stuff. How did that all come about? Clearly you were into guns, you were doing guns. When did that all come to be?
So it started, I think, when Facebook gun groups first started. And at the time, I was like, oh, I have these guns that I really enjoy. I will share them for everyone else to see. Mm-hmm. And everyone accused me of having airsoft. So, because they would look at my profile pictures, how does this Asian kid who looks like he's, 16 years old have a SCAR 16?
Oh, wait, you're Asian?
You can't tell, right?
I thought you were Native American. I'm so confused here.
But yeah, people would look at me and they would look at the pictures of my guns and they were like, no, those two can't go together. It must be airsoft. So I just played into it. And I would just make these really short videos with that accent. And that's kind of where it started.
Which is pretty freaking awesome when you think about it. What was your first video that kind of went viral and had a ton of views?
Oh man, I don't remember. I have to go back and look. It was probably the gross motor skill one. I think, that was the one.
Okay, that was not the one that I've been playing the whole episode, but your second most popular video.
Oh, second most popular? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I do not look at my YouTube very often.
So what was that video about?
Let's see. Oh, was it the Larry Vickers one? But yeah.
Wait. So this is the gross motor skill. Universal self-defense tools is your number one video.
Wait, which one?
The universal self-defense tools.
Yeah.
It passed it by 3,000, and the second was the gross motor.
Okay,
fine
the gross
motor.
motor skill one was like the most popular one for a while, so I thought that was it.
Yeah, no, that's actually now second place, which is freaking hilarious.
Okay.
So you were just like sitting around one day and you decided to do this, or was it like a whole big production, or what?
No, I just decided to do it one day because I got that whole thing from Frank Proctor after taking a class from him, and because people think that grasping things with your hand is a gross motor skill. It really isn't. That's still a fine motor skill, just using different parts of your hand. Like literally what gross motor skills are like your elbows and your knees, like your legs, like that. So I took it literally.
Okay, yeah. I don't think I've seen this one.
So he just dropped the mag and hit the bolt catch with his elbow.
And then loaded the SCAR directly out of his chest rig.
Yeah, because you heard that whole thing, like when you're under stress, your fine motor skills go away and your fingers like stop working.
Yeah,
that was what that video was about.
Yeah, that's
how much practice does that take?
I think it took me like 2 or 3 takes.
Okay,
it takes me 2 or 3 takes just to get through the beginning of the show.
Yeah, it really does.
I know.
Or any video I edit for you.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. I didn't say I was good at this. I just said I do it. So when you first realized that stuff was going viral, like, what did you think, man?
I was like, it was really comical because I think at least the majority of the comments I saw were people who thought it was like for real and not like, ha ha ha, this guy's funny. It's like, oh, this guy's a idiot. So I think that's what made it pretty funny for me. And then I wanted to get into like more stuff. That's why I made like the AK video and the M1 Garand video. So I talked a little bit more about the history of the guns rather than like shooting techniques.
Yeah.
But it was in the same like style.
No, I actually watched that one today, but it was like the same accent.
Yeah, same accent, same style, everything.
But it was like Sea and Arsenal if Othias was Vietnamese.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah. No, I watched that today. It's not kinda. That's like what it was. And it was actually really cool. I really enjoyed it, and I had never seen that video before when I watched it today.
Ones that I'm actually more proud of
because
of like what type of research that had to go into them and all that stuff. And I think like the real like, AK guys, like they really appreciated that video.
Definitely. Would you say like when did you kind of just get disenchanted with YouTube?
Probably like when the whole apocalypse happened.
Okay, so it's been a little bit, but it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Like there was still funny in these videos. I've got one up on the screen right now. This is the legacy of the M1 Garand, whatever. And like it was funny, and you could tell that you put research and time into this, but still like had that unique sense of humor. Which
what's up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's like I like taking gun myths and just like completely over exaggerating them just to prove a point. Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Like for a couple of years, or I don't know. When did you first start your YouTube channel? Like a year ago, 2 years ago?
Wait, mine?
Yeah.
This stuff was posted like I think 16.
Okay. Oh yeah, 4 years ago. I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, when I first started seeing these videos, when they first started going viral, I was like, this is f***ing hilarious. And I didn't know if that was like real or fake or whatever. So does that make me a racist? Because I laughed a lot.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I hope not.
The whole point of it was to be ridiculous and funny.
Yeah, it was f***ing great.
But not racist.
I don't care.
Oh, holy by the way, talk to us real quick about your Beauty and the Beast video.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so that was like a different character I'd made, and
go ahead, you could talk over it.
Okay, but yeah, that's another like forum topic. Everyone's always trying to figure out what type of whatever they need to buy to make their gun better, or they're just having all these debates. So I was like, you know what? I have all this. I'll just make a song about it. So that was kind of my thing. Growing up, being a millennial, Disney songs were, they kind of, they stay with you.
Totally.
Yeah.
Wait, what was this character called?
I didn't ever gave him a name.
Okay.
But I think I called him Jean Pierre, but I never actually said it anywhere, I don't think. So the idea, I wanted to do more Disney stuff, but it just never got around to doing it. People like to foot along a lot, and it was a lot easier to do foot along videos than like write entire songs or, lyrics for songs and stuff.
Yeah.
So what's your background in? Like you I mean, obviously you have a flair for entertainment.
So nothing like that. So I went to the same school. I went to the same university as Ian McCollum from Forgotten Weapons. We both went to Purdue University. I studied industrial management. So like complete, like boring, no creativity type stuff. And that's kind of like part of my upbringing. Like, since I guess my parents, like first generation or whatever, like part of the culture is like, you go to school, you make good grades, you don't do except for go to school, make good grades, and you're going to get a job. And that's like all we care about. So I kind of like went down that path for a while, and it just didn't really give me a creative way to express myself. So I think YouTube kind of opened that up.
Do you actually just do YouTube straight on, or do you actually have a day job?
Oh, I have 100% day job. Like my YouTube, I don't do anything with it anymore, just because it's just not financially feasible.
Yeah.
Every video I've made that has shooting in it, I've lost money on. Just ammo, buying the gear that you need. I didn't ask for people to send me stuff. Just driving out to the range, because the range is near that would let me do any of that stuff. They're all at least an hour away. So like it wasn't exactly an easy endeavor.
Yeah, that freaking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. It's been like a year since you put out a video.
Yeah, and the last video I did, I didn't put in nearly as much effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
I just did what I thought. I just thought it was something really quick, and it obviously didn't go anywhere. But yeah, it's just, I have so much time and money, and lately I've been wanting to improve my own shooting versus trying to make like these silly videos for people. And I know a lot of people who follow me are like, that sucks. Like, I really wish that, like they want to see more of it.
Sounded like the worst humble brag. I have so much time and money.
But I only have so much.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's opposite. Yeah. You misheard.
Yeah. If I had a shit ton of time and money.
What he said was, I have so much time and money.
Well, but it was the emphasis. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I said I only have so much time and money.
Oh, that must be nice to only have so much time and money.
Oh, yeah. I guess the emphasis was the big part there.
So when you were like, YouTube, and that's when you really, I don't remember the exact transition. I've been following you for a while, but you could definitely see it. It was you were doing the funny stuff, and then you really transitioned to the serious stuff. How has that transition been? Has it been difficult?
Not for me. So my Instagram is not for the likes. I just share that I think is important or what I'm thinking about at the moment. And I get likes or I don't, and I get followers or I don't. My social media has no bearing on like my livelihood or anything, so I really don't care. Which is kind of nice. I can say whatever I want. And there's really not going to be any, consequences besides like if I said something just outlandish and get canceled.
Right.
But as far as like firearms opinions or whatever, I'll just say what I think.
Yeah, we definitely know how that feels. We say what we want pretty much at all times. And like, it's kind of freeing, right? Like you're like, we're going to say what we really, really, truly think. And there's kind of like a freedom to that a lot of people don't have.
Oh, yeah. It's nice. I've had companies offer to send me stuff to do videos on. And I was like, well, your gun is not historically relevant. No one knows any. Like, you just can't make a skit about it. Like, it's just not possible, And like, I just feel like some of them didn't get it. They just thought, oh, this guy makes funny videos about stuff. He can make funny videos about ours. And it's not the same.
Right.
Yeah.
You did like the series of Slav squats with a bunch of different guns. You could make a living just pretty much off of that, I think.
I wish.
Look at this. It's fucking wonderful. The key to a Slav squat is keeping your heels on the ground, right?
Yeah. So that's actually the Asian squat.
Oh, the Asian.
Yeah.
That's hot, dude.
I don't know who came up with it first, the Asians or the Slavs, but it seems to be like a pretty universal thing over there. That for whatever reason Americans can't do. Like a lot of Americans cannot get their heels in the ground.
I can do it.
Okay, so you
do
learn.
it right now. Do it on the table.
I was gonna say I am Slavic, so yeah.
Jeremy,
Let's see it, Shawn.
Jeremy, you could barely bend over to pick some off the ground.
Yeah, but that's a lot easier than bending over.
What?
Do you know how far away the ground is?
Yeah, from you, it's like 7 feet.
Yeah, it's like down there. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So what's what's in the future, man? Like, kind of not doing a whole lot of YouTube, but doing a lot of social media and stuff like that, but also doing a lot of training and traveling and competing and all that stuff.
I mean, that's kind of where that's my jam. Like the whole competing and traveling thing. I like that a lot. I'm always trying to learn more. Just for example, in the last year, I've probably changed my pistol grip technique like 3 or 4 times just to find one that works. Mm-hmm. To I guess optimize it more. Just like things like that. Now it's gotten to the point where it's like all very, very minor details that I'm trying to refine as far as the shooting goes. And to me, like shooting is a martial art. You know, you're constantly bettering yourself, and depending on which schools you go to, they all have different styles, right? So like,
right.
If you ever seen the movie Ip Man, where you have like all these masters and their students are always fighting each other and arguing with each other about which style is better. That's how I see different instructors in shooting schools.
It's totally true.
Wait, isn't it IP Man? Is that the name of the show? Not Ip Man?
I don't know.
It's all about a networking service.
Well, all I know is the guy smokes a lot.
It's Ip Man.
I always thought it was IP Man.
Isn't it Ip Man, not Ip Man?
It's IPMAN. I don't give a how you say it.
IP Man, right?
I mean, technically, though, would it be like Eat Man?
I don't know
okay,
how to
racist.
pronounce it.
Me either. I don't know. But I mean, like, yeah. No, I totally agree. It's like you see all these different techniques, and some people, they put so much of their ego into a specific thing that they do.
Oh yeah.
That they can't like get out of that. And if anyone has anything different or other methods that they do it, it's like a huge blow to the ego, right?
Yep. My favorite is getting advice from people who don't shoot. I get a lot of that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wait, like what?
What's that?
Like what?
Like not looking at your gun when you reload, or like how I should be pulling the trigger. Like just like I pay the best people in the world to teach me how to shoot, and then some random on Facebook is like, "Well, you're doing it wrong."
Well, see,
no. Okay. So I've actually like invited those people out to matches. Of course, they never show up,
right?
You know, but it's just funny, like people on the internet.
Well, and the thing is that so the whole not looking where you reload, as far as I know, like the guy who the biggest proponent of that is Pincus. And, you know, he's very much so like, well, when you step on the brakes, you don't have to look at your pedals on your car, right? It's something you learn.
But that's like one step, literally.
Yeah, so he reloads kind of around the belly button navel area, and he's like, this is where you do because you're continually scanning and doing all this stuff. And, like, I've taken classes from Pincus, and I understand why he says what he says, but in practical application, like, I want to be able to see my magazine into the gun personally. And, you know, I can look around and have it there and like drop the elbow down, and then I can reload and do whatever I need to get back on target. Like you saw it in the Swamp Fox video. But, you know, like if you fucking disagree with that, you're dead.
Yeah. The only reason or the only way you can make that successful by like not looking at your gun when you reload is if you are standing still and you are shooting in that same stance every single time.
Right.
But if you are having to move while you reload, your gun's in a different spot relative to where your mag pouch is. So you have to look at your gun if you want a consistent reload.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this right now. Like any of that stuff, any of that really regimented, like do it this way or else, like if you walk into a room and someone swings a bat at you, like even if it's just a wiffle ball bat or something, like, and you film it in slow motion, the faces and the motions that your body's going to go through, like in that 10 frames or whatever that it's going to be, you're going to look like a complete fucking jackass. You're going to be like half up, half down, half sideways, half.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, well, in those positions, tell me where you're going to reload, because like in real something, that's what you're going to be. You're going to be reacting and responding, and you will not be set up perfectly. You will not be doing anything perfectly. You'll be looking like a complete ass. Like we see it in all these videos that we look at all the time online when of self-defense incidents and things.
Oh yeah, I look like a all the time, not in self-defense.
Same. Yeah.
Wait, we're not supposed to look like this? I'm so confused here.
No, I think we are.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's just normal.
Winning.
I agree. It's just, it's great. Who was that?
I was muted there. Sorry.
Jesus, Aaron.
That happens sometimes.
But yeah, the ego of trainers in this industry is a little bit out of control. And that goes for like defensive trainers and like competition trainers as well.
I mean, some is probably like part of the branding,
Yeah.
and that brings them even more students, which is fine.
You've trained in a lot of different places with a lot of different people. Who was some of your favorites?
Let's see. One of my favorites, JJ was one of my favorites. I liked Ben Steger a lot also. Ben's one of those guys, he's not afraid to tell you when you up. One thing I noticed with a lot of instructors, they hold a lot of opinions back because they don't want to offend you. Because the majority of their students pay to go hang out with this cool dude that they saw on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So Ben doesn't give a about that. He'll tell you exactly what you need to do, and that's what I like about him. Trained with Larry Vickers, big gun guy. Like he can tell you about every single gun that's in existence.
Was that a fat joke?
Oh, I had unintentionally. He slimmed down quite a bit.
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay.
I had to get a bigger monitor. He wouldn't fit on it.
Jesus
It's okay. Just like you can make those Asian jokes, I can make fat jokes.
Oh, because you're fat too?
Yeah, exactly. Wow, thanks a lot.
Okay.
No, but so Steger, Vickers.
I've trained with Travis Haley. Did his AK class. So one thing that we did with Travis was that we shot AKs out to like 700 yards on full-size steel targets. Full-size dipstick steel targets.
Yeah, Jerambe thinks that AKs are not accurate at all.
Oh, yeah, they're more accurate than what people give them credit for.
Not as accurate as ARs.
I would agree with that.
It depends on the AR too, though.
But you take a rack grade AR, like regular Colt 6920 thing with no free floated barrel, and then like an Arsenal SLR 104 FR, they're pretty on par with each other.
Yeah.
I'd argue that point.
I would argue that it's correct. Yeah.
I'm with Nick and Calvin.
Yeah, I'm with Nick, Calvin, and Shawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that brings me to a different topic. I thought about doing more serious videos, but I don't know how well they would be received, to be honest.
Well, here's the thing. Like, your Instagram seems to do pretty well.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the more serious and more like educational I try to be, the less response I get from people.
I think that's true. Like, so here's the thing. Like, if we had a 2-hour show every Monday that was literally just us about politics and the nonsense that goes on, like, we would be 20 times the size that we are.
Yeah, that's true.
Because people.
Why is that another fat joke, Shawn?
Well, yes, but people really want that drama. Like, people want the drama, but we do. We are a pretty big podcast, number one on the Firearms Radio Network, right, Nick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we do it not by kind of catering to what we think will bring that traffic, but by catering to just like being ourselves, like 100% being ourselves. People think we're funny. I don't think we're funny. I think we're idiots, but people think we're funny, and we do well in our niche because of that thing. And the plain and simple fact, man, is that you do have skill and you do have training and you do have like this pedigree behind you. And I think people will be interested, but I think the most important thing that you could ever do is be yourself, right? Like, Long is a character, but Long is you. Like, that's your sense of humor. And if you can figure out a way to take the serious information that you're trying to give out and put enough of Calvin in there as well, I think that people would be interested. I would, for sure.
If you had a series that was like the long minute or something, I don't know. There's got to be some good way to phrase that, but it was like,
or like this guy,
like 60-second clips where you showed how to do a reload or how you pull the trigger or whatever, and maybe really briefly explained why you did it in character. I would love like that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And you've got that name that you can use for all kinds of awesome titles.
But yeah, I definitely think that
or minute long.
I think people would watch it.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know if they would go like as viral as it did, but I think people would watch it. And really, I mean, your goal is what? Like making people better at what they do through your own experience, right?
Yep. Yeah,
And
that's true.
Yeah, I think that's huge. And I mean, there's probably a way to do it without like big production budgets and stuff like that.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, there's a balance somewhere, and I haven't decided where on how far I want to take it. Either way.
Yeah.
Like, I could do like those 1 hour long videos where I just talk and talk and talk about a certain gun, and it's like I've seen those videos. Like, I don't watch those things. Like, I look at the title, I watch it for like 2 seconds, like I'm out.
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah. I definitely think there's a way, and especially because you do put a lot of time into training and focusing on developing your own skills, and there's definitely people out there. I mean, there's a whole competition market. I was literally cleaning out a box at my storage unit, and I had tons of books from Steger and Steve Anderson and just all kinds of like the older competition books and stuff, and I was like, this is really good stuff. And like maybe they didn't sell 10 million copies or anything like that, but they sold them to me, and I treated them as gospel for years.
Yeah, and not all of it's like competition based. Like, some of the biggest things that annoy me on what people talk about online is like the AR versus AK debate.
Yeah.
On like how unergonomic an AK is compared to an AR. But if you know how to run an AK, you can run the safety really quick. You can do reloads really quick. Obviously, they're going to be a little bit slower, but it's not as big of a delta as you see. Because every time I see a fucking AR versus AK video, it's always the guy who's running the AK has no clue what the he's doing.
Right.
Every single time.
Right. Like, the only good ones that are in those kind of videos are like VSO Gun Channel, Brandon Herrera, like those guys that actually do run AKs and know AKs. Yeah. Like, those are the ones that I enjoy, because yeah, like if I'm putting out a fucking AK versus AR video, I look like a because I'm really good with ARs and not that great with AKs. Like, I can shoot them, but I wouldn't say adept by any means.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's hard to find people who can run an AK even anywhere remotely close to what it's capable of as far as the speed aspect is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Like, Travis Haley is one of the few that I've seen online who like can do like a super crazy quick reload on an AK.
I've never seen it. I'm telling you, man, even though like Haley and Costa may have lost a little bit of their luster, those videos still at the beginning, they were like, that was my and
at least Haley's been in combat.
Well, Costa was what was he, Coast Guard?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He can drop down on that stage like nobody's business.
Dude, the Coast Guard is like the sixth line of defense for the U.S. behind the post office. I mean, come on.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
If I got paid what he did to, go do the catwalk thing with the airsoft, I'd do it.
Yeah, if Jeremy would do for that much money.
And he has said he would.
My range.
Hey, Aaron would have been in the bet.
I think you had money to spare at that point.
Yeah, I don't give a shit at that point. I'd be like, hey, Aaron, I don't care. Either punch me in the face or here's a check for $10,000.
Hey, Jeremy, will you take a check?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be in touch. No, that's fucking awesome. Hey, can you stick around for the whole show, or you got to run?
No, I can stick around for a bit.
All right, cool. Before we continue on, we'll talk about the gear and stuff in our gear segment. But where can people find everything that you're up to and like all the cool stuff that you're doing?
You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook under the name Firepower United, and that's basically it. But if you're gonna try to talk to me, DMs on Instagram work way better than Facebook messages.
That's fair. I did slide into your DMs. Originally, it was for other things, not to be on the show. But finally,
We're going to talk about that.
yeah, well, I figured I might as well just be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, he's on the show, so we'll just say that the other stuff was positive as well.
HIV positive.
Whoa. So yeah, Firepower United. Just search for that. You'll find YouTube. You'll find Instagram. You'll find all the cool stuff. And I guess let's move into the show. Dum-dum. And this is Gear Chat brought to you by Phucing Firearms. Nick, tell me,
What?
do a soliloquy about how much you like Phucing.
A soliloquy?
Yes, please.
I like Phucing quite a bit. The quality of their parts and firearms is very high. They make good. I don't know. You made me all nervous.
I know. I'm so sorry, Jeremy. Go ahead, Aaron.
I exchanged some texts with Pat Murphy from Phucing Firearms yesterday. I'd like to read them to you.
Please do.
It went classic trios because I was playing Warzone yesterday and I needed one more player. Mm-hmm. His response was, "Sorry, just got off heading to bed." So that's my text message, recent text message.
Oh,
with,
good,
Pat.
good for him, man.
Well, I also
Getting off
have.
and going to bed.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean
That's the way to do it. Right
so I
there.
like to do it. I also have texts from Pat Murphy from Phucing. Let me look. Where is it? I feel like it wasn't that long ago. It's like, oh, here it is. He said, where is it?
This is riveting.
I was just going to say that riveting. It's like Shawn trying to cue up music for any segment.
Let's see. He said, the stupid cult group won't let me post. And I said, what's it telling you? And he said, it says something went wrong. We're working on getting it fixed as soon as we can. And I said, what the hell? You want me to post it? And he said, yeah, I'll email it to you.
And that was that recent cult post that you posted.
Yeah, I reposted it for him. But so he had posted it like 4 times and Facebook wouldn't let him do it because it thought it was spamming. But Pat, like, he doesn't understand technology really.
Right? No, he doesn't need to.
No, he doesn't. Jeremy, tell me about the quality of the rifles that you sell at your gun range and your gun store of the Phucing stuff.
It's good stuff. Well built, accurate, nice.
Would you say?
And I've yet to have a problem, but if I did, they would take care of it quickly. I have no doubts.
Yeah, I do agree. We do love Phucing.
Biblically.
We recently had a listener that, excuse me, had trouble with a barrel. Kurt from Phucing, like, literally bent over backwards to make sure that he was taken care of. And I thought that was pretty awesome. Got the issue solved. I heard back from the listener. I even went so far as to give the listener a barrel out of one of my guns so he could use it for a class. But Kurt got him the other barrel, and that one turned out to be really good. So
now he has 2 barrels.
yeah,
Joke's on you.
I know. I was like, I need to message him and be like, yo, bro, can I get my barrel back? Like, what's up? But yeah,
You know, a listener sent me a gun to work on with the polymer 80 stuff.
yeah, and you're like,
I'm waiting for him to hear back from like, hey, can I get that gun back?
you're like, you.
Who did this new phone?
But yeah, so Phucing Firearms, you can find, like, I don't know, barrels like M&P and Glock slides, which I've been using my M&P slide a lot lately. The FX19 pistols, the Bantam is their 9mm pistol caliber carbine that they've been selling a ton of lately. You can find all of it at PhucingFirearms.com. Coupon code is going to be WLS10. It's going to save you 10% off whether it's a barrel or a full gun. And I highly recommend checking out the Ion Ultralight because that's what my machine gun is built on, and it's awesome. Under 5 pound, full auto AR-15.
That's what you full autoed?
Yeah. Yep. Dude, it's baller. Don't even hate. It's so awesome. This is Gear Chat. So I guess I just wanted to talk about so I've been getting a lot more into AKs, and we've got like a NAC-9, a couple AKs in. And I was like, well, I've got a bunch of 7.62x3.9 ammo thanks to Brownells. We were at an event with them, and they were like, we can't fly with this. Do you want to drive it back? And I was like, yep. So we have a ton of that. And so I was like, I should get an SKS because I've always wanted one. But the thing is the prices are like $400 to $500, and I'm like, that. So PSA came out, and they had a deal for like $350. And I was like, you know what? I'm probably not going to see it this low, so let me just go ahead and hit up my dealer rep and get one of those in. Chinese SKS, like nothing spectacular about them at all. So I got it in after a few weeks, and Cosmoline. So Cosmoline is, I had done my Mosin before, but I think I had forgotten how awful it was. So I literally spent hours. Like I took everything down. I used an Iraq veteran 8888 video on tearing down and cleaning your SKS, and it was like perfect. It was exactly what I needed. Took it down. I sonic cleaned all this stuff and degreased everything, and used a heat gun on the stock and like all the other parts, and I thought that I had it good. But I mean, it took me like 5.5, 6 hours.
Did you try just baking it for like 250?
No, but I probably should have. Calvin, have you done
a lot of newspaper and the trunk of your car in the summer?
So the problem was it's not the summer. And it's been like 50s and 60s here, so that wasn't an option. Because I was like, I'll put it in a fucking trash bag surrounded by newspapers, put it in my windowsill, and it'll be fine. And then didn't have sun for 5 days straight. Calvin, have you done Cosmoline?
Not to that extent, no. I bought some guns that had some, but not just caped in Cosmoline.
Yeah.
At that point, why did you spend the extra $50 for one that was already cleaned?
Well, at PSA, they didn't have that option because they were like, we just got a bunch of SKSs in, and the price is $350. That's it. So I was like, okay, cool. So I did everything, and then took it to the range, and it was sat out in the sun for 5 minutes, and it was just bleeding Cosmoline all over everything, and me, and the camera gear, and Steve, and it was f***ing ridiculous. So then he's like, okay, well, when I did my Mosin, I took the box that it came in, and I took my heat gun, and I set all the parts in the box, and I turned the heat gun on, and I turned it into an oven. So that's what we did here in the office. And it worked pretty great, actually. I got the box.
Now you have cancer.
Well, I got the box up to about 350 degrees inside. Wow. And it baked the out of that Cosmoline. Like the stock, it basically stopped bleeding. I would stop every few minutes, and I had one of those infrared thermometers, and I was keeping track. And I did look up ahead of time what the combustible temperature is for cardboard. And it did pretty good. And then Steve left, and so I was just sitting on the couch waiting for this thing to – and then suddenly everything starts smoking.
After the firefighter leaves.
So yeah, so it had set some paper inside on fire, and I haven't even actually told Steve about this yet. So like in our office with zero ventilation, thank you, is literally just like there's smoke in my office, and I'm like trying to pretend, and I'm like, okay, this is fucking great. Ultimately, I think most of the Cosmoline is off now, and that was pretty good. The box idea was really great. I would just do it maybe in a garage or something where you actually have access to water and fresh air. Because will Cosmoline give you cancer if you breathe like the aerosolized version?
Probably.
Okay, good. I'm going to get like double Russian cancer. And
it was made by communists. It's basically designed to kill the population.
Yes. So I get it to the range, and we're doing our first video, which we call show and tell. It's just like the first time we get any product to the range, we just take it there and film it just to test fire and whatever. So Steve sets up all the cameras, goes to the bathroom, and I'm like, I'm going to fire this thing real quick just to make sure everything's good. I reach into the 7.62x3.9. I put a round in. I pull the bolt back, and it's like it's not going. And I'm like, wow, what the f***? So I press down and let the bolt go forward, and it loads, and it's in battery, and everything's good. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And I pull the trigger, and it's like a pop instead of a bang. And I was like, and I see like in front of me, like 15 feet in front of me, I see a bunch of dust on the ground. And I was like, that was weird. And so I pulled back the bolt, and I look in, and the case is stuck in the chamber. And I'm like, oh, well, what the So I lock the bolt back to the rear, and I try to pry it out with like my knife or whatever, and it won't come out. So eventually I get a screwdriver and a hammer, and I pop that case out, and I pull it out, and the case is like bulged and burst in the middle, and the neck of the case is like completely obliterated, and it's all bulged. And I'm like, what the this fucking SKS that Palmetto State Armory sold me is a piece of And I continue looking at it, just trying to figure out like what the hell happened. And I look down the bore to make sure that it's clear and the bore is clear and everything's good to go. And I reach over and I grab that next round out of the case, because I'm like, I spent 6 hours taking the Cosmoline off this. I am not going to let it defeat me at the range. And I look at the round, and it's steel case 223.
Oh, jeez. So
I realized that I had emptied like 15 boxes of steel case 223 into the top of the 7.62x3.9 case. Yeah. So it fire formed it.
But you could shoot that in there, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's still okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
had a guy at the range.
Yeah.
He's like, well, can I shoot this 300 blackout in my AR? And we're like, well, what caliber is it? And he goes, well, it's a 223. And we're like, well, then no. And he goes, but my lower says multi.
Oh boy.
And we're like, yeah, that doesn't mean bro. Like, that's not how that works. That's not how any of this works. It took 15 or 20 minutes of explaining to this guy, I don't give a that the lower says multi. You cannot shoot 300 blackout in a 5.56. And I got really close to the point where I'm just like, you know what? Here's a 300 blackout. Can send it.
Yeah.
Darwin take care of it.
Say that again, Calvin.
So just let Darwin take care of it at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it was dumb, but if it would have been like a bigger caliber and a smaller rifle, it would have been really bad. Like this one, I seriously think that the round went out about 15 feet and then just basically disintegrated. I wasn't going to try it again, but nothing was wrong. We did our video. We shot the shit out of that thing that day. Brought it back to the office, and I scoped it, sent a scope down the entire barrel, just kind of looking for anything that was weird, and it looked perfect. And yeah, so I mean, not like a big deal, but I will say that holy shit, I kind of love this SKS, and I don't know why. Have you guys shot like SKSs? What do you think?
Yes,
I have a
I have
few.
an SKS.
I have a level 20 in Warzone.
Nice. Calvin, what'd you say?
So I have a few. I've got an Albanian one. I've got a Russian one, and then I also have a Yugo.
See, I've got a Chinese, so I've got the Rona SKS.
My SKS is fully Rona'd out because it's a bullpup.
Yeah, your SKS is weird as savage. Like Calvin, yours are probably cooler than mine.
Yeah, the Albanian one's pretty rare. I think they only made like 18,000 of them, and 2/3 of them were destroyed.
Oh, holy man.
Yeah.
That's
So,
actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, they actually look kind of different from a normal SKS. The magazine's a little bit longer, but still holds 10 rounds. And the charging handle looks more like an AK charging handle. It doesn't have that knurled knob on it. It's just like I don't know what you call it, an AK charging handle, but it looks like that.
Yeah, just like the little swoop, like a Nike swoosh.
Yeah, swoosh. Yeah. Oh, yeah, like a trigger. And then the top handguard's longer, too, for whatever reason. So it's a unique one.
Yeah.
My favorite is when somebody puts like an SKS into like a polymer stock or something, and then they start that their polymer stock is out of spec because the SKS won't fit, that it has to be the stock fault. And I'm like, whoa, I'm like, this is injection molded polymer. That's an SKS. Odds are your SKS is out of spec before that stock is.
Well, dude,
like, really? Yes, really.
when you take them, so I texted Eric and I was like, hey, I'm watching your video. It better not suck. And he was like, let me know if you run into anything. But the video was awesome. Like, it was exactly what I needed. I literally took it down, everything. I took the sight off. I disassembled the bolt, like everything. Even the stuff he said, don't do this, I did. And it was pretty cool because now I can take apart my SKS, no problem. Like, really easy because the video is like an hour long, which in YouTube time is like 3 days. But yeah, it was good, and it's my first SKS, not my first milsurp gun, but my first SKS, and I really kind of like it.
You've
fun guns, dude.
You've lost cool points.
No, SKSs are fine.
They really are.
Tommy.
They're decent guns. They don't seem to shoot as well as AKs do, though. And I think it has.
I wonder why.
Probably because the way the stock, or the action is like connected to the stock, kind of like an M1 Garand or an M14.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was like really sensitive to any temperature changes or anything really, any pressure on the stock.
We shot it at 50, just all day long, and it did perfectly for that. Like we were getting fine groups and stuff like that. We'll definitely take it out further as we review it more and more. But I got to say, I really enjoyed it. Oh, holy shit. Okay. Othia says, Shawn finally cleaned one gun and it was a life experience.
You got to read that in the voice of Kermit.
Man, that's a guy that actually watches the show.
Yeah. Shawn finally cleaned one gun, and it was a life experience.
I felt like Othash was actually here.
But no, like, easy being green. It was fun, man. I got to say, like, I did love my Mosin for many years. I still do. I just haven't shot it in a long time. But getting the SKS and doing the Cosmoline and just like, I don't know, having that, dude. When you get an AR, you just like take it out to the range. But like with the SKS, like I literally had to like become friends with it and clean it and like literally wash its crack and all that stuff. And I think there's something to that. Like I really enjoyed the experience as much as I didn't enjoy the experience, if that makes sense.
I mean, I would take one of those over a box Econo AR.
I think I would too, actually.
The SKS you have is actually made for military use.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want an ATI Omni hybrid?
But you say that like it means something.
What? Say what?
Joe, cheap gun block was made for military use. Yeah, guess what? North Korea makes AKs that are for military use. They are the worst, probably, AKs that have ever been made, ever.
Yeah, but it's North Korea.
North Korea or IO?
Doesn't matter. It's all cheap gun block. You think all the commies back in the day were making the end all be all that guns could be?
Have you seen the North Korean AK mag?
No.
Norinkos are
The helical one?
No, a standard like AK like 7.62 mag. It is like it's stout. It's more stout than a Chinese mag. And I think
which one are you talking about?
there's a regular AKM or AK mag.
For what gun? For the
A North Korean made one.
the helical one or the standard?
No, a standard 30 round 7.62 by 3.9 AK-47 magazine.
Okay.
Like the North Koreans, like they probably starved their people so they could make these AKs the way they are.
Like good,
Or the
right?
people regardless. So.
Yeah.
I would assume that their North Korean AKs are pretty good. Is my guess. Like they're clearly not spending money on like people or
They don't have money to spend on anything.
That's not true. They have tons of money to spend on what they want to spend it on.
They
get lots of money in aid.
Yeah, that
from
hotel
us.
in Pyongyang's really lighting up the world.
But yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they would have good stuff like that.
They at least at the bare minimum use a pretty decent metal.
Yeah, I believe that. Siegel SB 2002 said you need to do a bayonet charge with it, Shawn. I am not confirming nor denying that maybe I speared a rubber dummy through the chest and nailed it to the ground with my AK. Maybe. Or with my SKS. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You'll see in the video that comes out soon. Right, Aaron?
Yeah, that's correct. Just have to finish that last section up and we'll be all set.
Exactly. Although I said bulk is often a sign of poor stamping welding tech.
Bulk is... Oh, no, I almost did it. Read it correctly, Shawn.
What was that, Aaron?
That was Yoda, I guess.
Oh. No, see, I don't think that sounds like Kermit, so I'm not going to do that.
I think he does sound like Kermit.
I know you do. Then you should figure out that impression.
I'm Kermit the Frog here.
What's the most... that was pretty good. Who did that?
I'm Othias the Frog here.
What's the most you guys would pay for a SKS?
$12.
150.
I think I got mine for between $250 to $300 at the time.
Calvin?
It depends on how rare it is.
Yeah, mine's not rare. All my serial numbers match on the stock, the mag, the bolt, the barrel.
Wait, there's serial numbers on the mag?
There's serial numbers on everything. Yeah, they're like don't steal anything. Nick, what's the most you would pay?
I don't know. I think like $250, $350.
All right.
For a Chinese SKS is reasonable.
You've seen my SKS. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about it. I love it. I'm not gonna lie. Nick, what's your product?
I recently acquired. I didn't talk about this already, did I?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
No.
I recently acquired a Glock 48 and wait, where's the okay, here we go. And a Shield Arms 15 round magazine.
I heard about this.
For said Glock 48. I know I've talked about these on the show, but I don't think I've talked about it since I got them and was able to shoot them. So I went out last weekend. I didn't get to shoot a whole lot, but I was able to put a little ammo through the Glock 48, and I mostly shot with this Shield mag because largely, like in most circumstances, I kind of distrust aftermarket mags. I've had some pretty bad experiences with them. This thing so far has run flawlessly. It's been very good. Although I will say, I think I only put like 200 rounds through it. So I'm not saying that like, that I had a really high round count or anything. It ran well. I saw some people talk about having like a tight fit in the mag well, where sometimes it wouldn't drop free. I didn't have any issues like that with mine. It ran well. It inserted and dropped nicely. I think this magazine completely makes this platform viable and worthwhile. From the factory, the Glock 48 comes with, and the 43X, they come with two 10-round magazines, and in my opinion, it's kind of a big gun to only hold 10 rounds, so having the shield mag that holds 15 rounds makes a huge difference. The 48 is roughly the size of a Glock 19, like same grip and barrel length, more or less. It's just much, much thinner. So this actually is my favorite handgun that I own. This thing shoots really well.
I always joke that a 48 is a 19 cut in half laterally.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like a quarter inch or a half inch thinner than a 19.
That's a huge difference.
And the same capacity.
Yeah, with this magazine. I don't have the hugest hands. I wear like a medium glove most of the time. If I buy like mechanics or something. So having the slimmer grip is kind of nice. It's noticeable for concealment, like that little. I was going to say that extra thinness, but that lack of thickness, I guess.
Well, and we just compared it. It's like the same width.
Yeah,
as my 365 that I carry every day.
Yeah, it a little longer in the grip. However, it's comparable to like the 365 XL, I think, which you have on the way, right?
Yes, I do.
So yeah, these shield arm mags are $40. They are selling pretty quickly because they're an awesome product, and like I said, I think they take this platform from being kind of meh to actually being cool and useful. Another cool thing about Shield Arms is that they're actually based out of Big Fork, Montana, which is just down the road from my parents. The range that they use in their videos and photos on Instagram and stuff is a range that I actually used to volunteer and do stuff at. They have, these are $40, 15 rounds, and then they have a +5 extension that you can get as well.
Yeah, made in the USA, and they are flush fit on the bottom with the basic version.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at any Glock mags, just take a look at them and then pick up a normal double stack magazine. I mean, the big drawback of those Glock magazines is that they are made of polymer, and they need to have very thick polymer in order to make them durable. Whereas if you have a metal magazine, it can be much thinner and it keep the same durability. So you can have a wider metal mag that's the same outer diameter as a Glock mag, and it can have more capacity because it's thinner material.
Yeah.
So you keep the same OD and you open up the ID.
Yeah. So Nick, someone asked, let's see, they asked flush fit and no rail on the 48, which is correct. You actually had the Recover Tactical rail on it. I see it's not there now.
No, so I did pick up one of the Recover Tactical things that just clamps onto the trigger guard and puts a little rail there. I don't have a light to put on it yet, and I don't have a holster that'll work for it, so there's not really any point in having it on there. It was like $30 shipped. It isn't the most secure mounting system on there, so I don't know if I would get like real rough with it. But I do intend to throw a light on and try that thing out and see how it does and see if it's a viable option. Glock actually does have a 48 and a 43X in Europe that they're selling that has a rail on it, but we don't have it in the U.S. So I'm guessing they're going to do what they've done with all of their other products, where they come out with this one first, and then they come out with the one that everybody wants that has the rail, like 2 years down the road or whatever. So we'll see.
Glock perfection.
Yeah. Calvin, you shoot Glocks reasonably often, right?
Yeah, I shot them for a while.
Have you had any experience with the 48?
I have not. I think by the time like the newer carry models had come out, like I just kind of stuck with my 19. I'm cheap, so like I don't like buying new guns just because. And I'm also not an early adopter of a lot of things. So I wait for other people to have problems before I, try something.
It's genuinely smart, honestly. But you are a collector, right? Like you collect a lot of stuff, like even
I'll
FUD
spend
guns.
A stupid amount of money on guns, just not the new ones.
Tell us about your boomer gun collection. Your words.
I mean, that's kind of like, let's see what I got here. So like one of my favorite boomers is a Swiss SIG P210.
Whoa! Sorry, hold on. Let me fix the screen here. Okay, there you go.
One of these things. Have you ever seen one of these? What got me into these is the fact that they're touted as like the most accurate service pistol ever made. So this thing has a 50-meter test target that comes with it, and it's supposed to hold like the equivalent of roughly a 2 or 2.5 inch group at 50 meters, like something ridiculous. Like that's more accurate than some rifles.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
SKSs.
Oh yeah, you put this in a Vice versus an SKS, this will outshoot an SKS at 100 yards.
That's actually pretty f***ing cool.
I would love to get to shoot one of those eventually.
Yeah, I don't think I have.
Yeah, I kind of went full and bought several of them, but
several, Jesus.
Yeah, so I buy them from boomers because they don't have internet and they don't know what the actual market value is.
How do you find these boomers, and where can I?
It's kind of a secret, but if you check out the local gun shows and go for years and years and years, you might find one every once in a while. Yeah, so I mean, it's on par with like a custom 2011 that you pay $7,000 for, as far as like smoothness and how everything fits together. The trigger breaks like glass. I mean, it's not a combat. I would not use it as a combat gun because it has like a heel release kind of.
Oh yeah.
1940s, mindset on stuff. But I mean, and the mag fits tightly too. I guess that was their idea of quality, and they also don't like losing mags over there. But this thing is, if you mess with it, it's purely because you suck.
That's pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah, and it's a very simple looking gun too. They didn't make it look like some crazy Formula One car thing. It's very functional on the aesthetics. But I mean, this is where the lineage of the internal life slide rails for the CZ comes from, the CZ75.
What was the model? I missed it.
CZ75?
No, of the gun.
210.
Oh, so
210. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So this is an original Swiss one, and not the remake from SIG USA or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's quite a bit of a difference.
That's pretty cool. I think historically I've been reasonably negative, but I don't know. I definitely want to shoot that.
You're more than welcome to shoot mine if you're ever in Dallas.
All right. I'm actually in Texas several times a year, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you go for?
Tree City.
Yeah.
Medical classes, shows, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm totally in. That'd be awesome. What when you say Lee Enfield, one of my buddies, Zach, that was part of WLS in the very, very beginning, like he is like a Lee Enfield connoisseur.
Oh, wow, okay.
We went to a gun show recently, and he was like pointing them out, like literally across the room. I'm like, what the dude? I can't even tell that that's like an old rifle.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're underappreciated here in the States, at least until Mike from Bloke on the Range, like, pushed them really hard. Like, everyone here loves Mausers for whatever reason. I guess that whole, like, history with the whole Nazi thing. Mm-hmm. And then people love the U.S. service rifles. But the Lee Enfield is a pretty accurate rifle when it's, like, in its original condition.
So there's a saying: the Germans made the best hunting rifle, the Americans made the best target rifle, and the Brits made the best battle rifle. Because rounds.
I wholly agree with that. I mean, not only the whole 10 rounds, the action is way easier to cycle quickly.
No, just 10 rounds. That's double the ammo capacity.
Well, if you get an Ishapore, it's chambered in .308, you get 12 rounds.
Really, a whole 12?
Shut the up. Nobody's talking about that. Hey, well, if you get this one-off that is not the bulk of what they made or what we're talking about, yeah, no stupid, but that's not what we were bringing up.
It's an infielded. This one.
Wow.
Right there.
Wow.
Tiny.
I've got one of those.
That wouldn't even count for our bet.
Yeah. Chip your tooth on it.
Oh, Jeremy, it counts.
It'd be like a toothpick.
But yeah, like the Lee Enfields, they are pretty cool. So my buddy Zach, he like finds like just destroyed and sporterized Lee Enfields, and he returns them to their glory. Yeah,
Yeah, something like this. Number 4, Mark 1. But yeah, the whole caulking on clothes thing, I feel like people have forgotten how to like use those because you actually have to put more pressure on the bolt closing it.
Yeah.
But then if you were just to let it lift the bolt, it just kind of pops back. It's pretty cool.
Punch you in the nose.
I suppose it wouldn't hurt. It's pretty light spring in there. But in countries where they can't have semi-auto rifles, like Australia, there are dudes who can run this like almost. I'm not gonna say like a semi-auto, but almost to the point where it could almost could keep up.
Yeah,
yeah, because they'll hold it by the bolt handle and just run the action back and forth and hit the trigger with their middle finger. And I think when I trained with bloke on the range, Mike, I think he was doing like 60 splits on like sub 60 splits on a Lee Enfield.
Holy
damn. Yeah. So it was, I can't do it, but it's like pow, 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 like real time.
You did some training with him, right? Like speed bolt action training.
Yeah, we did that. We went to some like shooting range in a mountain that the Swiss had built. It was a really nice facility. They literally just dug a hole in the mountain and put a shooting range there, and it was really expensive, like everything else in Switzerland, to shoot there.
I can imagine. I can only imagine.
Yeah, I mean when like a McDonald's meal is like $17, you know.
Jesus.
Yeah.
For McDonald's?
Yes.
Holy.
Well, the average person makes like $80,000 a year.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because
they only take home like $5.
Because McDonald's is $17.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone gets paid a ton, but everything also costs a ton, so it evens out.
That's
but
insane.
when you're a foreigner and you go there, it hurts.
Oh, I bet, man. That was Switzerland pretty cool?
Oh yeah, like all those shooting ranges where they shoot across the highway, like that's real. Like apparently that's so they don't have a lot of flat land over there, so they actually built shooting ranges that you would shoot over highways to get the distance you need, like your 300 meter.
It's pretty cool, except the problem I see people at the shooting range, and I'm like, you shouldn't be. You literally should not be shooting at all, much less at a highway.
Right. So they do have a stricter, threshold for purchasing and using guns there. So just for me to get on the range and shoot guns like a normal person, Mike had to convince the range staff that I wasn't from America. Like I had to give him like a list of every shooting instructor I've ever been with, what my level of training was, my classification in USPSA, and like competitions I had won. Like I had to give him everything just so I could shoot a gun like a normal person.
Holy!
You should just be like, I'm an American. That's my qualifications.
Born with guns.
But their idea of like an American with guns might be different than our idea.
Yeah,
because none of them know what they're doing.
Wait,
don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Their version of an American with guns is Jerambe.
Yeah, but I know what the I'm doing.
Yeah, but
and I will outshoot those European.
Oh, holy! You shaved your beard, dude.
I trimmed.
Yeah, you trimmed it. It's crazy. You don't look like a chia pet anymore.
I spent an hour and a half trying to get a haircut the other day.
I haven't. I've still got that Rona flow going on.
And then I got into an argument with a lady who I've never actually heard anybody try to defend licensing before as a good thing.
You did what?
I said I got into an argument with a lady that owned a haircutting place.
Oh, nice.
And she was defending licensing.
Like for cutting hair?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's
there
fine.
Are people who believe that.
Well,
sad, poor bastards.
Licensing for just like to be able
like
to
a beautician license.
Okay, but
yeah.
I've actually been cut by like people cutting hair with razors.
Somebody who had a beautician's license, so
Yeah.
apparently it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You're making my
That's fair.
argument.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
What other boomer guns are you stoked about?
I don't know, like, just the old no strips that you couldn't get, or you can't get now, but that were available a long time ago. But a long time ago, I didn't have the money to buy them. So, like your Mausers, your Swiss K31s, the Swedish Mausers. I mean, those have like skyrocketed in value relative to what they were. Most Nagants even. Like, I actually, especially the Finnish most Nagants, they're really accurate. But like, just normal stuff that you could just buy for a couple $100 now. I mean, they're double, triple, sometimes quadruple the price now.
I was just talking to somebody about that. Like, so my Mosin cost me $80, but now they're going for like $400 or $500 for hex receivers.
Yeah, you can find them for like 400, maybe below 400 if you try really hard.
I got mine for $50. I bought it underneath Nick.
Nice.
Oh,
Out from underneath Nick.
Yeah. Wait, is that true?
I don't know. I don't remember this.
You were both bidding on it, or what?
Well, no, House of Guns. Ebbs had it.
Oh, that's right. But that's a cut barrel and all kinds of crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's not stock as what it was, but it's still a Mosin.
Yeah,
It's not Savage Mosin. Let's be honest here.
Garand is definitely very high on my list.
Those are nice guns. They're fun to shoot.
Yeah. It's one of those things that, like, when the right it was like my SKS. When the right opportunity comes along, I'm going to jump on it.
You know, M1 carbines are like, that's what I'm looking for. I can't find one for under $1,200. That's like halfway decent.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you could buy a new one for that price.
You just use some of that YouTube money you got.
Okay.
He's like, okay, I need $1,199.50.
More, right? Exactly.
Yeah, it's rough.
It is.
What else is there? Do you guys consider pre-ban guns boomer guns?
Sure. Yeah, you said you had a machine gun.
What's that?
You said you had a machine gun.
No, pre-ban guns.
So pre-94.
Pre-86.
Pre-89, like import ban guns. So like
I was going to say, pre what ban?
Oh, yeah. Like your Galils, your Valmets, the Chinese AKs, like the Kastner import, the Hungarian stuff.
Those are not boomer guns.
Okay, well, who buys those? Because every time I buy one of those guns, it's from a boomer.
I agree with that.
Well, no, that's just what they could get back then. They've never actually shot it.
Okay.
All the boomers just got them years ago when that was just the guns that existed.
Yeah.
So do you have some of those pre-ban things?
Oh, yeah, that's like the other thing. I actually like pre-bans more than like your World War II, World War I guns. Because they're still like in a caliber that you can still find, like 223 and 308.
Yeah.
But it's that discovery period of people trying to figure out what the best assault rifle was or what the best battle rifle was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're not the U.S.-made rehash attempts that you see now.
Yeah.
Right. So the OG set-me's, like the poster you have behind you?
Oh, this way. Yeah. Well, that's an MP5.
Oh, that's MP5? Oh, can't see very well. Okay.
Yeah, it's got, I think it's one of the OG ones with a straight mag. But yeah, even the original set-me's are like collectible too. Not the Century ones, but like the real things.
We have a Century set-me. It's cool.
I think most people, they're more common. Much more common.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, just seeing that like interesting period where people are trying to figure out how to make, you know, a better AR-15 than the AR-15. And they were doing that since like the 70s and still doing it now.
Yeah, for sure. It's freaking cool.
And now everything is basically an AR-18 again, just with new materials.
Like literally Brownells has a BRN 180.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
With lower receivers made by
Jeremy's got one.
I have my
arms.
half-inch uppers is sweet.
Jeremy, your receiver should be there any day.
Good. Now I just needed that brace.
Yep. So the brace is still pre-order. The receiver was pre-order when I sent it in, and literally like 2 days later it released. So you've got the original BRN 180. That was my first FFL to FFL transfer, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a picture of an AR-15 upper on an original AR-180 lower, and I tagged Brownells, and I told them that's what they should make it next. And they liked it, but they didn't say anything.
Dude, they probably already have it in the works, man. They're doing so much of that stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Man, the original mags for those are hard to find. I haven't been able to find just 20 and 30 rounders.
I know Brownells has been doing a lot of the repro mags as well, like steel mags. So if they do come out with it, maybe they'll flood the market with those as well.
I'm hoping, but we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Savage, what was your product?
Oh my God, it's my turn. Oh, so mine, I was looking through the firearm blog today, and I saw that the military was playing with a new, it's kind of a gun, but not really. It's called the Drone Defender. So the 82nd Airborne Division was doing some training exercises during this Operation Falcon Storm 22, and you can see the picture there in the thumbnail that has this very bulky looking weird ass device that this guy's carrying.
Yeah.
I had to actually search around a couple different places to figure out how it works, and there's nothing that it says directly, but I'm guessing. Oh, this one I found says it quickly disrupts the adversary's control of the drone, neutralizing it so that no remote action, including detonation, can occur, minimizing drone damage and risk to public safety. So what I'm guessing it does is it sends out some kind of radio signal that the drones would be normally operating on that overpowers whatever is coming from the remote control, and then just causes it to go into like a reset mode.
Everything behind that front part looks like a Kel-Tec.
Is that one of those cheap gun show optics that you get for $20?
Yeah, I think it is.
It literally is.
Holy shit, it is.
I mean, I guess it'll work for that.
But I mean, it doesn't need to. There's no recoil. It's just sending out radio waves, so you can just have whatever kind of red dot you want on there.
I mean, really though, but like the cheap ass like Amazon optics.
They could sell it a little better. Put something a little bit more like an L-can on there.
Yeah.
You know the government paid a ton for those optics too.
Oh yeah, so much.
Oh yeah.
So it just does frequency disruption. So basically makes it uncontrollable.
Basically, yeah.
At 400
like
meters.
next
Yeah, like 4 football fields. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, with an optic like that though, how are you going to see what your target is?
That is true.
There's a drone up there somewhere. Find it.
Right.
This red dot.
Just point it in the sky and pull the trigger and hope it's not a helicopter.
Right.
Wait. Would that work?
I don't know. I'm confused and scared at this
That'd be
point.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, it would. Pretty cool stuff, and I guess this is the time when we move on.
Brought to you by Brownells.
All right. So, tonight I did want to talk about Memorial Day, and I as is tradition, I will get our video taken off of YouTube by playing taps. Because, I mean, if ever it's appropriate, I think this is the time. Let me just take my hat off real quick, and then I'll play it, and then we'll get pulled off of YouTube, and then I'll basically send in and say, no, we have the right to play this, and they'll say, okay, that's fine, but it'll take 3 days. So here we go. All right. So there you have it. It is Memorial Day. Actually, one of the greatest things about We Like Shooting is becoming good friends with a lot of different veterans that I would have never met if I hadn't done WLS or if I wasn't part of WLS. But also one of the worst parts is that those people that I care so much about, they've lost a lot of people. And I actually did say that I would take a drink in the honor of some people that one of our good friends has lost. I'm not going to say who it is, but Nick, would you like a drink?
Sure.
You've got a glass right there to your right. It's probably cleanish.
Yeah, it's fine, I'm sure.
So I'll just read some first names. We'll take a moment. We'll respect those that have passed. And so for our good buddy, our good friend, Jennifer, Scott, Darren, Elizabeth, Harold, Jeremy, Josh, Brad, and Shawn, I want to raise a drink and remember those people that meant so much to someone that we care so much about. And happy Memorial Day, guys, and remember always. Cheers. Jeremy, what's Memorial Day about?
Remembering fallen service members throughout our nation's history.
Yeah. So I noticed a lot of people getting mad about Happy Memorial Day. Like, what's the proper terminology to use in that case?
Look, no, it. Say happy. Say have a happy Memorial Day. People died for your right to be happy today. So
that's kind of how I feel, and I'm like, yeah. Me being happy doesn't mean that I don't respect the loss of those people that have given up that wrote that check with no no restrictions. They just wrote the blank check, and some of them paid with their lives. And whether you agree with the battles, whether you agree with the wars, whether you agree with anything, it doesn't matter. These are people that went in, and whether they went in for college, whether they went in for any other reason, it doesn't really matter. Like, they paid the ultimate price in the service of this country. It doesn't matter what the service of the country was. That was outside their realm, and that was outside their choice. But it really was that blank check written for whatever the country needed, and they paid that price. I saw that Primary Arms today, they sent out an email, and it said Happy Memorial Day from Primary Arms, and it had a banner that said Happy Memorial Day, and it was someone shooting an AR-15. Underneath that, it said in the text, in recognition of Memorial Day, Primary Arms would like to thank all veterans and active duty military who risk great sacrifice in the protection of our nation. Our offices are closed for the day. We'll resume normal operations tomorrow morning. It's pretty cool, right?
Yes.
People got butt hurt because blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we know this is going.
Yeah, the CEO later on, a couple hours later, sent out an email that said, earlier today we sent out an email with a horrible mistake. We used an inappropriate banner and Veterans Day language for the somber occasion of Memorial Day. We understand this is a day of remembrance and have a deep appreciation for the men and women who gave their lives protecting freedom. Please accept our sincere apology. And I'm like, who the complained about that? Like, what?
This is people that lie about their service to claim PTSD and get VA money, and people that never actually stepped outside of a wire that want to make a deal about it because thank me for my cervix.
I don't know. I mean, like,
all the Karens.
Clearly a bunch of people complained. This is the image that I'm showing on the screen here. It's literally just Happy Memorial Day with someone shooting an AR-15. And the whole message is about, we respect Memorial Day. We've closed our offices. We're not doing business today because of this. And I'm just like, you f***ing whiny. Like, who?
Well, apologize. That's rule number one.
Yeah, there's nothing to apologize for. Like, I didn't even see the first message, but I saw the apology come through, and I was like, I went back and looked, and I'm like, if you complained about this, if someone says Happy Memorial Day and you whine about it, like, f*** off, man. Like, I get it. Like, this is real, and we give it the full respect. And, like, I can't even tell you how much I appreciate the people who've given their lives. But this snowflake, cancel culture that we've created is out of control. And if you're complaining about like this, you really need to get your together, because you're kind of a loser. Like, people having a day and having a day off, and they may not understand what it's for, and they may not know the people that you've lost, but you got to get together, man. You fought for them to have that freedom. You lost your friends for those people, and now you're going to complain about it when people. I just don't get it, Calvin. Like, what are your thoughts here?
I mean, that's the way I see it. I mean, I never did anything in the military, but I have family members who did, and they don't go around telling everyone, "Hey, this is a day for us to be sad." You know, like, we're going to celebrate this because that's what they joined for. So they give Americans the opportunity to enjoy their lives.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree. Jeremy, you already said, like, I mean, enjoy it, do what you want.
I had a cookout today. I had 25 people at my house today. My gunsmith's wife and 3 children were playing with my cousin's children and my child, and there were, I'm trying to think of how many other kids were here. And there were other kids here, and they were running around in the pool and running through a sprinkler, and we were cooking hamburgers and hot dogs, and there was watermelon, and it was, and I sat and I'm sitting in a chair and I'm watching all this go on, and I got my wife who's pregnant and my baby, and my mom's holding my kid, at least the one that's not in utero, and
because that would be weird.
Yeah, it'd be really weird. Like, I don't think it's viable yet, and you know, and these kids are running around screaming and crying because somebody shot me in the face with a squirt gun, even though they're in a fucking squirt gun fight. And I literally out loud just said, "America." And my mom started laughing. I'm like, "Isn't this what it's about?"
Yes, it is.
Like, isn't this the dream? Isn't this the point? Nobody's telling me what to fucking do. I'm on my own goddamn property. The people that I care about in this world are, not all of them are there, but a chunk of them are here. And we're having a grand old time, and we got good food. And, like, that's what people died for. That, and because, you know, the most American thing you can do is shoot a communist in the face.
True. I just, yeah, like, I was like, and the thing is like, the people who did this, the people who complained about it to the point where the CEO had to send out an apology for a message doing exactly what they probably should have done. It just struck me as like, stop being pieces of shit. Like, this is what those people died for. Like, I have friends that suffer greatly on this day. What I don't have is friends that suffer greatly on this day and wish that you would not be an American. So if you're out there and if you complain about shit like that, and if you bristle when someone says Happy Memorial Day, like, you, honestly. Like, the people that I know, the people that they've lost, that's what they fought for, is the people who can do that. And this, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is controversial. I don't know. But, like, knock it off. And if you
never apologize.
Yeah,
as a company, never apologize.
Jesus, if anything, WLS knows about not apologizing. In fact, before we even sign contracts with advertisers, I'm like, so how familiar are you with the show? And just recently had this conversation. They're like, well, I'm not, but the person who recommended that we advertise with you guys, they're very familiar. And I was like, well, just so you know, we're never going to apologize. Don't ever feel like you can come to me and say, don't say that, because I will immediately cancel our contract. Like, these are things that are important. Like, we're never going to apologize for anything. And I'm not going to ever apologize for this. Like, if you're complaining about people saying Happy Memorial Day and whining about that, then I think you have completely forgotten what those people died for.
Well, I know for a fact you never apologize. You son of a
fuck you.
Never apologize, not even once.
You know, you don't know, you don't do, Aaron? Know when to stop.
I knew that was coming.
Anyway, Happy Memorial Day. And to those that you've lost, my deepest and utmost respect. And I don't know, just humbleness. I feel humble in the face of people who have lost lives for this country.
I mean, yeah, I mean, sure, somber Memorial Day, but like, I watched my dad die at 14 years old. When the day of his death comes rolling around, I don't sit around and be a mopey the whole day.
Oh, it's like 364 days you're the mopey.
No,
that day you're not.
I'm never a mopey man.
That's not true. When your cousin died, you were a mopey.
For an hour and a half.
Yeah, we were drinking and partying that
we were trying to fucking have fun, and you're just bringing us down.
Well, I was outside. I left. I went to be by myself. Off.
Yeah, I got car sick at that place.
No,
I had a great time. I had a great time.
Shawn was at the hotel being sick, a little mopey.
already
Yeah.
not having
Yeah.
a good time because I couldn't fit in the go-karts to actually race.
I was kicking ass on go-karts, and then I walked outside and Jerambe was crying, and my night just got so much better.
So anyway, happy Memorial Day, guys, and always remember what it's for, but always remember what they fought for, and that was you being a fucking American. Yeah, I don't care how you celebrate it; it doesn't matter. I'm looking at the comments here; everyone agrees. So if you're complaining about primary arms or someone saying Happy Memorial Day, you.
One of my coworkers was like, "Everybody have a happy Memorial Day," and another coworker was like, "You can't say that." And the first one was like, "Well, I get the day off, so it's going to be happy for me." I was like, "Yeah, that's a good.
That's fair,
Yeah, it's a good comeback,
dude. Like, yeah, this is fucking America. Act like a fucking American." This is Going Ballistic, brought to you by Savage 1R and Second Call Defense.
SCD.
Who can tell me what SCD is?
It's
I once had it, but I took some penicillin and it went away.
No, that was VD.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
SCD
Never
is
mind.
It's Second Call Defense. It's self-defense insurance. If you ever have to use a firearm in self-defense, they basically make sure that your life doesn't end. So if you survive the shootout, when the smoke clears, you call 911, you call Second Call Defense. They make sure that you have the proper bail. They make sure that you have legal representation. They make sure that they cover you for either criminal or civil defense. They will pay damages. They will get your guns back. They pay for crime scene cleanup, anywhere between $10 and $40 a month, depending on your plan. And we're going to have Shawn Maloney on Double Tap very soon, and they've got some updates that they're going to give us, which is pretty great. Like there was a big kick after some things that happened, like Las Vegas, where underwriters were no longer, and the NRA lost their insurance. And we all saw that happen. And Second Call Defense has taken steps to make sure that that can never happen to them or ever happen to them again, and make sure that they don't rely on anybody and that they have their own services that will take care of that. And that's pretty freaking awesome and something that no one else can claim. So go check them out. Get a free month and a free WLS shirt by going to welikeshooting.com/SCD. And Nick, don't wait till it's too late.
Okay.
Get it today. Savage, take it away.
Well, some good news to start out the night. A couple of good news stories, actually. Actually, all three of them are good news stories. So if you will recall, last week we talked about the murder of Breonna Taylor by three cops that were in civilian clothes executing a no-knock warrant. At the time, her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, had fired back. He returned fire, striking one of the officers in the leg. And he was arrested and was charged with attempted murder and assault charges. I believe it was a week ago when the judge set him free, the prosecuting attorney ripped this guy up and down, was saying that he was a danger to society and a danger to himself and others. So there's no way that the judge should have let him go. It was a travesty, yada, yada, yada. Well, today they kind of changed their tune a little bit. So all the charges have been dropped, and the funny thing is that the prosecuting attorney started saying, well, it's likely that there was no real criminal activity on either side, so we don't want to get into a kind of a blame game. I mean, that guy. He was immediate. Those guys were doing nothing but blaming Kenneth Walker for this whole situation when the entire fault lied at the feet of the police officers executing that no-knock warrant. Interestingly enough, GOA ruled in on an opinion here, and from who is this? Okafor is their spokesperson, Antonio Okafor, and what the Louisiana mayor said is that they're now requiring additional precautions that will limit the future use of no-knock raids, which is a good thing, though no-knock raids should pretty much be gotten rid of for the most part. Provide greater transparency and create safer environment when serving warrants. So these changes obviously came after that raid. So Okafor said that GOA is pleased to see that Louisville mayor is responding to citizens' concerns and changing policies for police on serving warrants. This is a positive step towards protecting honest citizens, including gun owners, and that is the truth. And honestly, this should really be the beginning of the case that Kenneth Walker has against the police department, and I think they know that they screwed up big time, and I think he stands to win a lot of money for the wrongful death, of his girlfriend, and for everything that happened to him.
Yeah. Calvin, did you see the story?
I did. I didn't look closely into it, but I did see it.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy, and yeah, this is good. So basically, they do a no-knock warrant. The guy in bed, he has no idea it's the police. He starts shooting back at them, defending himself and his girlfriend. Cops fire back. His girlfriend dies, and then the cops charge him, which is just absolute insanity. But now they've dropped it, which I think we all saw coming. I mean, this is going to be a huge payday for the people that this was perpetrated against, and good, because power recognizes money, and when they lose that money and they lose that power, that's nothing but a good thing for the citizens of the United States. So good.
Yeah, I always, and on one hand, you're like, it's still, government doesn't make any money. It's all tax money. So literally, it's just our money that they,
ultimately,
the people in that,
it's the people in that area, but yeah.
But I remember suing people, corporations, and I remember going like, well, it just seems like you want a payday. And my mom always said like, yeah, but you got to, it never made sense to me as a kid. But my mom would always say you have to hit them in the pocketbook. It's the only way a lot of people respond.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and now that I'm an adult, I'm like, God, she was right.
She totally was.
It's crazy that no-knock warrants are still a thing, and most law enforcement officers I know are pretty against them because they're so dangerous for both parties involved.
Yeah, totally.
I love that they're like, well, it's safer for us.
No, it's not. It's
but no, it's not.
Hey,
and if you start getting this suit out of you for it.
Totally. Calvin, do me a favor, refresh your window and then come back in. You've started to robot out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I totally agree. It's kind of a weird thing, and the guy that they were after had actually been arrested earlier that day, and it's just like a whole big thing, and I don't get it. Savage, what was the next story?
Next story, the lady dubbed the Mad Commie Mommy, Dr. Jennifer Rager Kay, is a school board, person on the school board, and made a run for the House of Representatives. Interestingly enough, with the endorsement for Moms Demand Action, she made a Facebook post earlier this week talking about how she would feel threatened by anyone who would come up to her, any gun owner coming up to her without a mask on, and would feel like she would need to shoot them. She made a raging Facebook post about that. Well, that went viral because and then the media actually initially ran with the spot that she was a pro-gun activist. Thanks for whoever's banging on their microphone. Anyways,
that's not me.
So she went crazy. The post went viral, and she got outed basically as this person who was trying to, pretend she had this big, moral superiority over everyone, when in fact she pretty much threatened to execute anybody that got near her who was armed with a mask, because that automatically means that they're going to, be a threat to her life and limb. No, it doesn't.
Well, the funny thing is nobody at any point hears, oh, if someone without a mask comes near me, I'm going to shoot them. No one ever thinks for 1 second, oh, that's a gun owner.
No, absolutely not. But apparently this lady has a concealed carry license or a license to carry of some kind, and is armed, even though she's an anti-gun advocate, which is more wonderful freaking hypocrisy. So anyways, she was forced to resign her position from the school board, and she wrote a long, whiny letter about it's everybody else's fault but hers. And the butt hurt is palpable, and she absolutely and totally deserves it, because she is basically unhinged and a liar and a hypocrite. So it's a good thing.
I don't know about liar, but hypocrite for sure.
She's probably not going to shoot anybody, but Aaron, good point. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We see this kind of stuff all the time, and I saw the picture and I was like, okay, yep, this all makes sense. But yeah, she lost her she didn't lose her job, but she was forced to resign from the school board, and she was really mad about it. Guys, she was so mad.
This lady, you look at her and you say, Karen. This is a Karen.
So, Aaron, you and I have argued incessantly about masks and things like this. But
yes.
At any point, has either of us been like, oh, if you're either A, wearing a mask, or B, not wearing a mask, like that, I consider that a threat against my life and I'm going to shoot you? At any point, have we approached that idiocy?
No, I don't see that as a murdering offense.
No, I really don't either. And like if someone walks up to you and shows you a positive test and then coughs in your eyeballs, like maybe, but even then I'm like,
yeah, I'd be upset, but I don't think I would kill them.
No.
I would, it'd be like, oh, well, I guess I need to go to the hospital.
And her argument is, so why am I being crucified for practicing the same rights given by the Second Amendment, stand your ground law, and the Castle Doctrine? Like, off, moron. Like,
That's not how this works.
yeah, that's not how this works at all, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right, Calvin, do me a favor. Unplug your mic from your computer, plug it back in, and then refresh and come back in.
Poor guy.
No, it happens to Aaron all the time.
Oh, Mac thing?
But yeah, I think so.
Breaking his microphone.
But yeah, like this, I mean, it's weird because I look at her and I'm like, oh, that makes total sense.
I'm not going to judge her by the way she looks.
I know, and I shouldn't.
But by the content of her soul, sir.
Which is like her soul is.
Well, yeah, the content of her soul plus the Karen cut kind of gives it away.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to swoop down, though.
It's a little bit. It's a little bit. It still says, I want to talk to your manager.
It does. It does. Next story.
So, 19-year-old Alaska man is facing attempted murder charges. So this guy had staged multiple rifles, body armor, and helmet, and was ready to break into and shoot up a public safety building. And so there's this place where there's a lot of unarmed village police officers, and this guy was going to go shoot it up. But fortunately, there was a local resident who came in and saved the day with a rifle of his own. So, I mean, it's really interesting, that there's this public safety building. There's police officers there, but they're not allowed to carry guns. And this guy, shooter,
they're not police.
But they're village police.
They're village police.
Okay.
They're not unarmed because they have to be unarmed. They're unarmed because they don't have any funding. They literally can't afford to buy them guns.
Well, and that came to bite them in the ass, obviously. So, fortunately, the shooter, his firearm misfired. It didn't fire correctly, and the other citizen who came in and pointed a firearm back at him, a rifle back at him, and talked him down into surrendering. And fortunately, nobody got hurt. I mean, hopefully he got a little bit of the shit beat out of him for doing something like that, but probably not. But anyways, it's another case of, this is a fortunate case where a citizen was able to come in and save cops and, take the person into custody. So I think that's pretty much a win all the way around.
Well, not just that, but let's not forget what just happened in Corpus Christi, Texas at the naval base. Basically, Adam, I guess we don't say their names, but so basically a terrorist. And yeah, they have proofs. Thank you. They've actually proved that he is a terrorist. Looks like he was trying to commit an act of terrorism. It's being treated as an act of terrorism. Comes into the naval base. Comes in. He has plans to murder a ton of people. There's a guard at the gate. Engages with him. Guard takes a shot to the plate carrier. This is a young lady. That was the guard. Basically gets back to the thing, hits the last failsafe so that he can't get in, exchanges gunfire, kills the terrorist, and bada bing, bada boom. Good guy with a gun kills bad guy with a gun, and no one else has to die. The only person that died was the bad guy.
Hells yeah.
A terrorist. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know, Calvin, like this is good news, but we don't really see a whole lot about it, right?
Never, not in the mainstream media.
No,
I didn't even know about that one. When did that happen?
Just a couple days ago, actually.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I found out about it through a meme because I didn't.
Yeah,
it didn't get shared.
I know it's.
Of course, it wouldn't get shared because it doesn't fit the damn narrative.
It is crazy, and I'm like this gate guard, probably very low ranking. I don't know if they're security services. I don't know what they call them in the Navy, but yeah, just sitting there, like exchanges gunfire, kills the dude, takes a hit to the chest, and still makes sure that she locks down the gate so that the dude can't get in. Good news. Like, yeah, this is what happens.
Hey, Eric Christensen, I'm literally reading from the article. Officers told the station they don't carry firearms due to lack of funding, so off.
But I'm reading about it. It actually does appear that they're prohibited by law from carrying firearms. They're volunteer, like security. Essentially, we have something sort of similar in Colorado where we'll have like guys who come out at traffic accidents or whatever and set up cones or help.
Yeah, I mean that's what
traffic or
that's what the community emergency response team does around here. If there's like a parade or something, they provide help for.
I've heard of literally none of this.
For lost kids and stuff, and
pretty
traffic control.
Interesting setup. An article over at Anchorage Daily News is talking about. This is from a year or two ago. It's talking about how their numbers have dropped more than 50% in like a year. They're having a hard time getting people because it is a volunteer position and they're not really trained very well. Apparently, it sounds like reading some of the comments on this article that Savage had linked here too. It sounds like there's kind of an interesting dynamic in this particular village because apparently it's a really small village, according to somebody who's commenting. And they're saying that a lot of the people there are actually related to each other and they have a lot of issues with substance abuse. So a lot of times it comes down to people dealing with people who are friends or family that they may not want to shoot or be willing to shoot at. Even if, they are doing something really like this.
Yep.
I
don't know, kind of interesting dynamic all the way around.
Too bad they don't have like too bad it's not like reservation land where they can make their own rules.
I think this actually is on a reservation.
Oh.
Okay, Jeremy, just kind of let it go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Then how could it be your sovereign land? Do what the hell you want.
Yeah, the thing is, they all like to throw that around, the sovereign land thing, but a lot of times, they are not governed by state and federal law.
Yeah, they need to either unfuck it or do it because if I had a CCW, could I just not carry? I got a carry permit. I have my own gun. Can I not carry?
I guess I don't know, man. I don't live in Alaska.
Because this one guy had, that article that I read, Nikolai Borchowski or whatever, drew down on this old boy and pulled the trigger and nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then that dude fucking booked it. It's like, if you got and then it took somebody else. It's like, okay, well, do you just not have a gun in the CCW?
Well, Alaska is a constitutional carry state, but like I said, apparently these VPSOs are prohibited by law to carry a firearm on the job.
It's pretty weird, man.
Well, it's not a job; it's a volunteer. So it's like, just do it without saying you're doing it, and just do the same thing, right?
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Fire you?
Right.
Well, I mean, they might put you in jail. Who knows?
Well, no, they're not. They can't even keep this barricade.
No doubt.
And besides, it's probably your cousin. He's not going to.
True. All right. Let's see. How about this?
It's positively Pozderac. Positively Pozderac.
Brought to you by Polymer 80. We just shot a lot of Polymer 80s in that video with Swamp Fox. Nick, what are your thoughts on Polymer 80?
I like Polymer 80.
Aaron, what are your thoughts on Polymer 80?
They're pretty neat.
I too like Polymer 80, and I also think they're neat.
But why?
Because their grip angles are better than what you would find on similar style guns. The texture is really good. The fit and finish is really nice. And if you buy one of their build kits, I mean, everything is right there at a really reasonable cost.
Yeah, the buy, build, shoot, that I love that stuff.
Hey, happy birthday, James Allen.
What'd you say, Nick?
Sorry.
I'm all about that BBS.
Yeah, buy, build, shoot, which is basically everything you need. It takes you just a few minutes to finish the 80% receiver and then just put everything else together and you bada bing, bada boom. Calvin, you shot many Polymer 80s?
Never have.
Yeah. You were talking about grip angle and how important that is earlier, and I totally agree. Like, I don't shoot Glocks well naturally. My natural point of aim is a little bit off because of the grip angle. I'm more like a 1911 MMP, like that grip angle is better for me, and Polymer 80 kind of matches that, which I definitely dig. But go check out the SIG, their PF320 PTEX, or sorry, P320 PTEX, which is basically their frames for SIGs. It's the same grip angle and everything that you know. Okay, Aaron.
Sorry, I was just trying to whip it out, and there's a lot of empty soda cans nearby.
Yeah.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Everything you
here
know
it is.
about the Polymer 80 stuff, but it's not even 80%. You just literally put the SIG P320 fire control group in that frame, and bada bing, bada boom, you're good to go. And they're all available now, and Polymer 80 is constantly getting new stuff in. Lots of the stuff that they have is at dealers right now, so you can save money by going to polymer80.com and using coupon code WLSisLife. It'll save you 15% off all day, every day. Jeremy, why don't you take the next 4 reviews for tonight?
4?
4. They're short. They're short. You got
All
this,
right.
buddy.
WLS by S. Lux, 5 stars. Always great time, sometimes even helpful. Haha.
Okay, that's fair.
Great show, 67 Turbo, 5 stars. Great info and humor.
That's true.
WLS Koinonia. Great show, funny and informative.
That's awesome.
Where'd it happen to the funny ones?
Farther down.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Fun and informative. Liar. By Charlie Hebden. Hebdo? Charlie Hebdo?
Oh wait, isn't
It
that
just says C. Hebden.
isn't that Dallas newspaper that got shot up by the?
No, that was the
No, it's
French
French.
one.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, and
5
then-
stars. Love the show. Firearms Radio Network is by far my favorite group of gun enthusiasts to listen to. It's like having your friends over to talk about guns, except you don't have to worry about them trashing your house. Says you.
like first of all,
We'll be there
Yeah.
to trash your house.
we will trash your house.
Can we find this guy and just go trash his house?
Yeah,
How many people want to kick some ass?
exactly.
Maybe we should share an Airbnb with them.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, let's see how that goes for you. C. Hebden.
Let's have them reserve it, though,
Yeah. Oh, no.
with their account.
Oh, well, when we almost got banned after Jeremy's last debacle.
Look.
Didn't think it was going to break that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't think it was going to break it easy. I tapped it and it shattered. I was like,
So you broke glass. You've broken the handle on that shower at that one. You put Shawn through a wall at one.
no, Shawn
am I
put
missing-
my foot through the wall.
You pushed. You made me tip over a couch and set an Airbnb on fire.
That's true. Yep. It's like our experience with Airbnbs is only eclipsed by our tales of rental cars.
Yes. So Calvin,
Shawn hit a wall,
you ran over a stop sign.
but not in the rental.
Oh yeah, that was your actual car. See, that's even worse.
That is worse.
Calvin, have you ever up Airbnb?
No, I'm usually pretty tame when it comes to the Airbnbs. Like I like getting good reviews
Yeah.
and being able to use them again.
Shut the up.
No, we had a 5-star until our last Airbnb where Jeremy decided that he was going to tear the sliding glass door off the hinges, break the
Already
blinds,
broken when we got there.
and he was like, "Oh, this f***ing fire extinguisher right outside the door. This glass is so thin."
I bet I could punch
And then
through this.
she's like, they broke my fire extinguisher. I'm like, the f***ing apartment complex owns them. This.
Well, on a positive note, I appealed it and I won. I don't know how. They literally had Jeremy smashing their fire extinguisher on camera.
The glass covering it.
Yeah. So anyway,
Again, not hers.
I
That
feel-
has nothing to do with
I
her.
feel real bad about it.
And then she tried to nail us for like, you know, those like slats that hang and are like
The vertical blinds.
like the vertical blinds that like hang, and they're constantly always breaking. Like I've never seen any of those that didn't break. And I just opened it to walk out onto the porch, and like 3 of them fell off, and she's like, "They broke my blinds."
Now, to be fair, the way that Jeremy opens the blinds and the
I
sliding glass
grabbed
door,
the stick and I pulled it.
yeah, with the force of like
7 overs.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. So Calvin, Jeremy's 6'8" and like literally the biggest dude in every room, pretty much.
Like, imagine you're trying to throw a bowling ball from like chest height.
Yeah.
And that's how Jeremy opens that door and the blinds.
It's crazy. Anyway, we still have an Airbnb account. I don't know if we'll actually get anybody to approve us when we try, but It's awful times. Anyway, let's start to wrap this thing up. Last but not least, I want to talk about Black Rhino concealment. So, I mean, this is my concealed carry holster that I carry every day.
That's really cool and interesting, except it's not that cool or interesting.
What do you
Shawn.
have? What do you have?
Because I have a Taylor Swift holster.
Tell us about that.
So the folks over at Black Rhino Concealment custom printed this for me. It's got a Hawaiian print on it. You know, it's the
Boogaloo.
Yeah, the lovely flowers. It's got the lyrics to the chorus of the song "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift on there, and then it's got little Taylor Swift faces all over it. Yeah.
So they can do that.
I would finish with that.
Yeah. No, it is pretty cool. But really, lately, I've been loving that FCS scabbard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a great holster, too.
That's actually the one that I totally copied Nick on. But, yeah, so it's just, the normal, I guess it's kind of like a TCS holster, but it's got the UBL mid-ride, the QLS from Safariland fork and base. And then, so it's not quite a drop leg, but it kind of is a drop leg. Right?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it's a drop leg, but less gay. I guess.
Yeah, it sucks.
Han Solo
less.
had a drop leg. He's not gay.
I don't know. We never saw him actually finish with Leia, so I don't know. No, but I love this thing. Like, I've been taking it to the range every time. I literally keep my battle belt with that on it. And, it's freaking awesome. So that's the FCS scabbard at blackrhinoconcealment.com. Use coupon code WLS MOFO, and that'll save you 10% off all day, every day. We've got giveaways going on all the time. We just finished one recently that was our monthly giveaway, and we're going to launch. We've got 3 coming up that I've already organized and set up. We've got one that's going to be heavily towards Discord. We've got one that's going to be huge with Faxon, and we've got one that's going to be huge with Hackett equipment. So you can enter to win whichever one's going on currently at welikeshooting.com/giveaway. All of our active giveaways will be there all the time. Go there and join it. Calvin, it's been absolute pleasure, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you don't get fired. Like, it's always a fear on our show.
Oh, no, I'll be good.
That's awesome. Where can people keep up with all the stuff you're up to? And when you start doing your serious videos, where can they watch them?
Right now, just follow me on Instagram, Firepower United, and or Facebook. And if I do anything else, I'll definitely make an announcement for sure.
Very cool.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Keep up the good work, man. Like, dude, the gun industry takes itself so seriously, and like us and some of our friends, but like when I see people out there being funny and also, but just being good community members, it's awesome. And I think that if we had more of that, it'd be a much cooler world. Right?
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not on camera.
Yeah, I'm just kind of talking to.
Yeah, I'd be like, it would be a much cooler world. So I think that's fine. But yeah,
All right.
Firepower United. Is there ever going to be another long video?
He's not dead. I haven't killed him off yet. So there's a possibility. He may not come back in the same way, but, he's still there.
I just thought, I wonder if our editor is going to edit out all the times we say fuck long.
It's what, PHUC, right?
Yeah, but she's going to edit the whole thing and then get to the end.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's what, Jeremy?
English is not her first language.
I mean, she speaks perfect English. I don't know.
How do you know?
Maybe it
How do
is.
you know? You talked to her on the phone?
Language.
Oh, I mean, she types perfect English.
There you go. I want to see a picture of our editor.
No, you don't need to see a picture.
I want to see a picture of our
No,
editor.
she does an amazing job. That's all we really care about. But just a reminder, join a gun-related advocacy group such as FPC, GOA, or SAF. We already talked about Antonia Okafor doing stuff for GOA. But I got to say that LaRosier and Kraut at FPC are doing some great freaking work. So definitely get involved, be an advocate yourself, and give money to the organizations that are supporting our rights. Okay, well, I guess it's time to say it, but suicide prevention line, like we have been saying since day one of the pandemic that suicides are going to skyrocket, and now we're starting to finally see it, and people are getting all concerned about it, people supporting the lockdown, and now they're like, oh my goodness, we've got this huge suicide problem that's like greater than we've ever seen, and I'm like, F off. Like, of course this was going to happen. Like, the longer goes on, the less people can just keep up with this stuff, and people can pay the bills that they've been putting off for however long, and everything gets back to normal. We're going to see a large rise, but I don't want that for you guys that are listening to this. Like, honestly, there's help out there. Even if it's just somebody to talk to. The suicide prevention line is 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-TALK, or you can even text the number 741-741, and there's someone there for you 24 hours a day. Like, look, is going to get better. I know it's bad right now. It's going to get better. Mark my words. If it doesn't, Aaron will you.
What? No, Jeremy will, so I can make some money.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I mean, it's going to get better. Trust me, both of those things would be awful. You don't want either of those things.
I'm all teeth, dude.
So 741-741. I know a lot of people don't like to talk on the phone. It's easy to text that number and get the help that you need. I think it's important. So we're here live every week on Mondays and Wednesdays. Every single day we're on demand. Go to welikeshooting.com/show to subscribe. And as we always say, thanks for listening. Get some medical training, most importantly. And Aaron, shoot straight. Shoot straight. Whoa. Eric said if Shawn says they've said 351 times on the show, it's a lie. We have. Every single episode ever.
Really?
And
The medical training
ever.
part's newer, but
no, but the suicide thing.
On episode 1?
Yeah.
you weren't even on episode 1.
Well, every show I've been on, I said.
Okay.
Wait, hold on one second.
Now I feel like you're playing Aaron rules.
Yeah, no, you're right,
You're
actually.
going back, changing what.
Hold on. I'm going to find the show notes for episode 1.
Did we have show notes?
I don't
No,
think
we didn't have
there were show notes.
Episode 1 was just us talking. That crazy British guy came on. You weren't there for that.
Nope, that's America. And, should we name this Will You Take a Check? Referring to Jeremy somebody.
How about I saw one in the show chat.
What was it?
Let's see.
Good time.
Yeah, good time.
That's pretty good. I'm down with that. You guys down with that?
Yes.
I'm down with the sickness.
All right. I'm down with it. I'm going to slowly fade out the music on the soundboard. Here we go. It's almost over. A good time. Here, thanks, Jeremy. I was trying to be all
spell with a C, not a K.
right.
Did you think that show was worth $1? Help the cast by visiting lovewls.com.